I guess Bloody Nine does end up dying there to some DOT, but they're losing a second lane of Rax at 16, and... Oh, okay, I thought that was a real one. That's just Yaren messing around in team chat, but... I mean, we might not be far off from the actual GGAT, because... If you're 5-man Midas, what scenario... Forget about winning the game. What scenario wins them even a team fight?
It would be a team fight where I think a few Dogchamp heroes are asleep is probably your your easy win, because yeah, no, Destroyer would need to die somehow on the Zeus. He hasn't been partaking in any of the pushing. He's just been trying to respond to Argius, and Argius, he's got Song TP.
Okay.
As long as he doesn't, that doesn't happen. Yeah. Zeus is just there.
It's just...
with the Aether Lens. It's a comedy almost at this point, or that's what it feels like in the smoke up. Okay, can they do anything?
They're trying to force it. Argius, though, does still go down. They cleaned out the Tombstone, I suppose, but now the Roar blocking RRL in place. Can he blink away? No, he can't. Still only level 2 on the spell because we're 17 minutes in. And they're going to lose everything. Well, not everything. Feeling's still alive, but Dogchamp are looking to fix that. They're going to track him down. Does he get this TP off? Are they merciful? Hell no, they're not. They're just going to go straight in for the wipe.
Yaren, you do too much damage. They're trying to give RCY the rampage, dude.
It's just Murphy's Law in action for 5-man. I don't think any scenario has gone positively for them.
Yeah, no. They're just kind of playing this one out at this point. The bottom tower is the only thing they can play for. The supports of Dogchamp are just in. They're just on the tier 4s. I don't know why they're here.
Yeah.
They're just playing. I mean, yeah, there goes your Ag Shard from Yaren, but it just gets immediately canceled. The funny thing is, they're somehow not dead, because there's just no stuns on 5-man Midas' team at all. It's just Ensnare and Cookie. And eventually, once this bottom wave gets pushed in, the creeps meet. Don't have the Aegis anymore, but you're running out of game to play for. Boots of Bearing finished on Italiana Gangster. 50 attack speed for the lineup. I mean, they're all tracked, but no Aghanim Scepter in sight. Wise just has to throw his body on the ground here, try to tank up with this Vanguard for his team, but they're the kisses. Again, trying to push out those waves, maybe.
Damage is kind of minimal. Feeling? That's the wrong side of the fight. Okay. Just taken down immediately. He does have buyback. His death timer, though, is still only 25 seconds, so maybe he just tries to wait that out. But Dogchamp, well, they see their chance to close this out. They're looking for the final lane of Rax. RL's going to deploy the Sonic, connecting onto 3. What else do they have? Nothing. Argius gets roared up instead. There's the Eclipse. There's the Thunder God's Wrath. Fight's done. And it looks like the game might just be done here as well. There's a buyback from the Naga Siren, but he still has no song for 20, and I'm beginning to lose hope.
I think they are too, and I think with that dieback, it might be time to throw in the towel. And,
yep. Yikes.
Not saying that that would have really changed anything, but maybe 5-man Midas are just trying to get us into the next game. Maybe after game 1, realizing that they couldn't do anything versus Dogchamp, they say, okay, let's go into this Wolf Team matchup with our, I guess, 20-minute break here, you know, for the games, but I hope there's not an FF on the horizon here. That would be a sad way for 5-man Midas to go down, but yeah, nothing went right.
Yeah, I mean, that you feel like that's an exaggeration when you first say it, but it truly isn't. Nothing went right for 5-man Midas from the absolute outset of this game. Every possible engagement, every camp spawn, everything, the rune spawns, all of it, it just went poorly for them, and it didn't help that their own picks here didn't really help them out either. Especially it lies on this bounty hunter. I don't know how much influence he has, ET, in terms of what they're actually drafting for him, but it's been rough for him in particular.
Yeah, it somehow didn't have the lowest hero damage dealt though in that game. You know, it's because I think Stonebank sticking around in the lane, you know, being a bit of a nice guy. Stonebank probably would have been more farmed if he rotated into the triangle sooner, but then you give the bounty hunter a little bit more game. But yeah, no, that's where coming into this next game, it's just time to go. It's time to go versus Wolf Team. We're gonna have to see if 5-man Midas can do anything. they cannot afford to lose at all. They need to not only 2-0 Wolf Team, but then they need to 2-0 Felt in their final series of BTS Pro Series 12. And then they have to hope that that alone, and actually that alone would actually net them the win, because then they beat Felt directly in the tiebreaker. But that's where lose game 1 here. That's it for 5-man minus. They make an exit as our first team in the BTS Pro Series. But that's where maybe they're going to kick it into a different gear. Maybe we see something different. You know, you could say anything about them, but let's hope they do something with this 20-minute break here. I hope to not see them in the lobby. I hope they also take the 20 minutes as opposed to the 10, because I feel like they might need that mental reset.
Yeah, after this series, might want to just take a little bit of extra time to come up with something, because this did not look fantastic. So it will be 5-man Midas up next, facing off against Wolf Team. Both of these squads trying to secure their positions, obviously different positions. 5-man Midas trying not to be eliminated. Wolf Team still on the hunt for an upper bracket slot. If they win 3 of the next 4, they trigger tiebreakers. If they win all 4, then they can just make upper bracket outright. So, you know, the Wolves are going to be hungry pushing into that one. But we are going to be giving 5-man Midas a little bit of a break, which means we are going to be hopping into some ads here in just a second. Before we do go, though, ET, it is time, once again, that is the wrong screen. There you go. It is time to show you the old giveaway plug once again. So, for Pro Series 12, we are doing a little bit of a giveaway. You can see on your screen right now, we're giving away one HyperX Armada 25 FHD gaming monitor, which, as we said, is now available. Alongside that, some BTS merchandise, a t-shirt, a hoodie, good stuff going out there to one lucky entrant. You can go to bts.gg/pro series giveaway to enter into the drawing. The giveaway ends at pretty much midnight on October 7th, so effectively the end of Pro Series. Then we draw a winner and see who our lucky contestant is. So take your shot at that. Again, bts.gg/pro series giveaway to enter. See if you can win yourself a monitor and some cool BTS merchandise. So thank you very much for sitting through the giveaway read off. And now do go into that final series. 5-man Midas versus Wolf Team coming your way in just a few minutes here.
Yeah, and that is a great second phase. That is just the most annoying lane in Dota with one of the highest kill potentials. And the last time, Scourge just owned it. He rocked it. He was out farming a Naga Siren. He was absolutely killing it. So I love every part of this. And really reactively picked up versus the Dawnbreaker. You're saying, well, if it's a Dawnbreaker carry, well, we're going to out carry that. If it's going to have to be a shift up and it's a 5 Dawnbreaker, well, we can also spin out of that. It's just the perfect counter versus everything that SG have until this point. And Yuma Faceless Void. Okay. One concern, you don't have any damage really in that chrono just yet. That's where I think last pick here for KXY, you're going to need a little bit more damage just to make Yuma's life a tad bit easier. But otherwise, it's still Faceless Void and a hero that no team has really valued too much. It's ticked off a lot of boxes in some of these drafts coming into these later stages, but just ended up getting avoided, I think, again, because it's not as free. It's not as easy. All of the nice aspects of the hero before with Time Walk just got kind of ripped out of your hands, especially the range with the Shard. Just makes the hero a little bit more difficult to play. But it is still AoE control. It's still another ultimate ability on that same scale as Arena and Solar Guardian. It is right up there. Now, again, though, need a DPSer. Need somebody for KXY who might be able to carry something that you kind of lack now from Yuma. But Yuma also one of the Void players who, again, has a very stable performance. I think him, Stonebank, I want to say even Dodd to a certain extent, even though Dodd likes to play range carries a little bit more, have been the more stable Faceless Voids in this tournament, and absolutely love what they've been able to do for their teams, and they certainly bring a lot, but we'll have to see. And you're against a Visage, which will kind of be annoying because Visage is just going to, you know, bap you over and over again with the Soul Assumption, but we'll see.
See how much of that damage he can avoid. In the meantime, both sides take an aim at that middle lane here, the cut, removing the Queen of Pain. Would not be surprised to see the Lina ban here as well, right? Specifically with KXY in mind as that opposing mid laner that gives them that damage dealer into the chrono and also gives them a hero not cooldown dependent like their other two cores will be. So see if that's a direction the cut look to go for with this ban. Otherwise, I don't know, ET, what else would they be looking at? Because a lot of those mid options have already been taken away.
Yeah, I think the easy one for the cut is looking at Ember Spirit, probably. Just seems like the most obvious pickup for them. Just knowing what Nico likes to play and seeing what their opponents are banning out already, it does kind of seem like a setup. And they ban out the Lena. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. The only issue is, of course, picking Ember Spirit in the down position means that SG could get cheeky with it and then just counter pick you and say no. And okay, no Ember Spirit, never mind, taken away. So now it's a battle of perhaps Void Spirit versus Storm, and well, we'll see.
There's the Void.
And there's the Void Spirit, and now, well, you say, do we pick Storm Spirit to now play against you? Do we pick the Spirit that has a slight advantage in lane, or do we look for the Shadow Fiend and then say, well, you're a little bit screwed right now because you're a melee hero versus SF, and then, of course, that would be a hero to chain up yet again with Faceless Void, and honestly, if you don't have damage, then might as well just change stun into chain stun, because currently we've got Chronosphere into Solar Guardian into what could be Fear from the SF. It sounds like quite an annoying team fight that I don't really know how you survive through. Now, something to be worried about, though, is that there is a Shaker in this game. You'd like somebody that's a little bit more mobile from the mid lane, perhaps, because you could die pretty easily. A nice pickup as well would probably, at least for me, would be the mid Tusk, which would be kind of nice. Somebody who can stop the Jug from TP spinning, is a melee laner versus the Void, and again, is a little bit more survivable versus the Shaker. I don't think they're going to go for it, knowing what KXY has played so far in the tourney. Let's see it.
Oh,
yeah, it'll just be the Leshrac. Okay. Basic stuff. Good damage in Chrono, but
yeah,
not what I thought.
Does solve your damage problem. Gives you a little bit more lockdown as well. Not maybe quite as durable as something like a Tusk, but the Lesh does kind of get up there in terms of HP and sometimes some armor as well over the course of a game. So as long as KXY doesn't go 100% greed on his itemization, he should be able to at least tank up a little bit of that incoming damage.
No, for sure. And we get to see what I got an earful of last night when I decided to play Dota 2, that Leshrac Bloodstone is broken and needs to be removed from the game. People are a little bit angry about that change because it is a really nice quality of life change. It turns the hero into a pretty unkillable monster if he can find the units to stick on. And, well, there are going to be birds flying around. I don't know, there isn't the most units that you're going to be able to lifesteal off of, but that's where I think the build-up for Leshrac has only gotten better. And of course, all it takes for, in this game, get a Ghost Scepter, counter out the Jug, get an Aghanims, get... This really just infinite build-up for this hero. You just build whatever you need. And then we'll see what happens, because I think they've got good lockdown. A lot of it, again, is going to fall onto the shoulders of Yuma, but Austria's going to be able to make some of his own independent plays here and there. Honestly, both sides have very balanced lineups, and to that degree, I think the cut maybe have a slight advantage just because they've got the Wraith Pact hero, and it seems like the team with the Wraith Pact just gets the game going just a little bit faster. But we'll have to see if they can press the issue, and they can especially press for those early Roches, play a very Ravens-like style, because that's the kind of draft that they do have.
Yeah, they've got the ability to play it a little bit more quickly, and they won't have to deal with the same just clear-cut windows that SG will, considering the ults that SG have picked up here. So they can play it a little bit faster. If they can catch SG in between those cooldowns, then there's really not going to be a whole lot that they can do until later in the game. But we'll have to see if the cut actually play up to that pace or not. Because if they don't, well, I don't know. Faceless Void is eventually going to start sort of picking up farm, and then you have to worry.
Yeah. As 2 DCs. Bye-bye. Hopefully they get back in here soon, but no, that's where the one part of Faceless Void that did not get nerfed is that he will still chrono you. He will still eventually just kill you. Level 20 talent getting nerfed was pretty necessary, though. 120 attack speed. I know everybody looked at that and they said, oh, 120 attack speed. Hey, is that like a moon shard? Is that like 4,000 gold in Chronosphere? And then you're like, well, yeah, but it's only in Chronosphere, so how good can it be? And you're like, no, it's very good. It's very not okay. I don't know if that's gonna be a nerf to change up enough Void's Minds and getting the time lock damage, but for that 20 talent, neither of them were ever too bad, but I still think you probably take the attack speed, but nerfed attack speed, thankfully. As DCs and RCs struggling to get back into the server here for Oscar, but we'll see. That's
There goes
also a hero
KXY
that
as well.
you don't want to be lagging on, because that's where the laggy spears come out, you know. That's a hero that is very, very hard to play on ping already, but having connection issues, and you have to play versus a Jug in lane too. I don't know. These spears could be sus.
Oh man, it's what, the third attempt now, and Oscar hasn't been able to stay stable, so it's getting a little concerning, shall we say, as KXY is going to make an attempt to get back in here himself. Let's see if they can get at least one of these guys sort of stable enough.
And we get to hear a lot more voice lines now, because they did change it. The community was heard. No more gambling for voice lines. Wasn't enough, I think, of a warning beforehand. Just kind of fell into a lot of people's laps, and some people were justifiably unhappy with it. But now everybody gets everything. Apologies to the guy that spent $400 on a gold Effie, but, you know, what's yours is yours.
This is why anytime Valve releases anything, folks, give it like 2 days before you start throwing money at it, you know? Because every once in a while, they do kind of come back and say, oops, our bad. So, you know, don't throw money down that pit right away.
But Kmart, the 3Xs, the 4Xs, that's made in the first 24 hours.
All right, there you go.
See, that's where homie buys up, you know, all of the 67-cent Jakiro Immortals because a new Jakiro Immortal comes out, and then they all become $2, and you see the money.
Are you trying to short Dota Cosmetics, ET? Is that the game you're playing right now?
This is the game that everyone plays. What do you mean?
Yeah, I know. I used to be that guy. All right, I'll admit it. I did that, but
homie lists, you know, 60 items all at the same time, all for the same price. The floor rises. You could be that guy.
I was that guy. I regret nothing.
All in an effort to make back money to buy battle pass levels, because it is just Steam bucks with the market. But hey, at least it's something. And I opened up $40 worth of capsules, sticker capsules, and I got a Slacks. And I sold it, and I made back $33. So I still lost money, but I'm proud of making anything back.
Oh, not everyone's a fan of the Gamba, but oh, hey, guess what? Dota's happening, by the way, in case you forgot, because we almost did. But Bounty Rune's spawning up in 10 seconds here, so we will mercifully stop talking about the market. Really? Okay.
Nice.
KXY had the stun going. He's not really in a position to try anything now. He's actually blocked off by the fissure, so wasn't able to get in here. Still faking out the stun, not going to deploy it, and, well, at the end of all of that, ET, it's a 2-for-2 split, but that was a lot of damage that Prada took. Ooh, salve.
No, yeah. That was pretty nice. You forced the salve off the Dawnbreaker. Yeah, he's going to have to buy some items, but, ooh, look at that. Blocks the lane. Not every Shaker still does this, but he's got 3 mangoes. He's got fishers galore. He's going to be able to really keep himself up. But no, this should be pretty fun. And we'll have to see how Prada decides to play it. He could just tail around Moose, just left, right, and center, just trying to stop him. But that's where in lane, if Yuma isn't careful, it gets done for a little bit too long. Especially, I think, once you get level 2 Aftershock, that barely puts you out of the time walk range. So if they time it correctly, you could actually have a Soul Assumption just straight up hits and then lasts.
Yeah, that timing is going to be kind of close, but yeah, as you say, I think it might just be doable, but Kim's got to be on point. But he's playing this Earthshaker. That's a hero he is sort of very much familiar with from his previous lineup, so don't think there's going to be too much to worry about there. It's just going to be a matter of really how well they can play defensively against this, because Prada on this Dawnbreaker... Yeah, there's a reason why Pause 5 Dawnbreaker hasn't really been popping up as much anymore, ET. I mean, you still are technically a threat with that combo, but it's just not as intimidating as it was before, especially against this lineup, or this lane from the cut that can just dish out damage and stun.
Yeah, and when you look at like the changes to Dawnbreaker, really they just nerfed a lot of the more core-oriented aspects of the hero. But here you go, level 2. Always talk about this. You get it, you go in. Got the Soul Assumption as well, but that's where Grave Chill is a hell of a spell. Makes you a lot faster, and in a double melee lane, Nick is going to be able to walk out of a lot of these situations.
That was Prada's sort of power spike moment, and he did some nice damage, but well, Lil Nick's got tangos. Prada's looking to go again, though, but he is going to get spotted here. Not really able to do all that much damage. Soul Assumption is not going to hit all that hard either, however, so should just be a reset on that lane for the most part, which means ET, let's swing it somewhere else. We've been looking bot for far too long. Up in the top lane, Scourge, well, should be relatively safe to farm here, right? Pingu is the only one, I think, really in danger of this combo out of Oscar and LTH.
Yeah, it's really not too fearsome, and you just have to worry about walking just a little bit too far forward. It's where as soon as Scourge hits level 5, he is under absolutely zero danger. Even once he hits level 3, just having his Boots of Speed and probably the slightly better cooldown of Spin, it's just not something he's going to have to be too concerned with, even though there are nice little plays here. Both supports just trying to keep each other's camps blocked as long as they humanly can, while Oscar just last hits versus him. And Oscar does have not only the base damage advantage, but also, as we always talk about, the disruptive aspect of Mars, where you could just knock people off of range for people last hits. Unless you want to spin, it just doesn't end up working out. It's a very annoying hero to play against. And Oscar with 2 bracers, I mean, he's got the damage. He's very tanky.
He's got just a straight-up advantage on damage. LTH, even with the occasional Fade Bolt in there, if that hits onto Scourge, then he's dealing with less damage to last hit, so no threat of dying, but Scourge may not have too much fun in terms of the straight-up last hit war, a war that so far Oscar is winning, not by a crazy amount, but he's doing just fine for himself, and LTH is managing to, well, only sap, I guess, a little bit of experience. He is trying to sort of play out of this lane as much as he can, as well, I don't really know if that pull's gonna... Oh, okay. It does catch the aggro on the back end. No, it doesn't. Never mind.
Yeah.
Unfortunate. And now LTH is gonna die for it.
Yep. Well, playing around with the creeps. Yeah, that's the cost you do have to pay every once in a while, but you know, what can you do? I ended up looking over at mid, just seeing what the XD was all about, but I couldn't figure out why. it just I think maybe there was a bottle refill or something coming for Nico. I don't know. Seems like a pretty boring lane mid though. Neither side can really kill the other until level 6 is online, so both of them have raindrops, both of them have wands. They're effectively the same hero right now.
They are getting close to those level 6s, however, so we might see some movement out of them if they're not willing to sort of go directly at each other. So that might just be the first sort of major move outside of, I guess, the Jug play up in the top lane. Is down bot. There is a little bit of a skirmish going down here, but Yuma doesn't want to take too much damage there. Still holding that time walk for when the Soul Assumption comes through, so we can just sort of remove that damage immediately.
Yeah, no, it's pretty easy for Yuma to make that play happen. Does pick up the raindrop just in case though, because of course there is a lot of magic damage that you can knock off. As well, goes to escape, has 2 points up in the time lock, so already working off that cooldown, but interrupts the pull. Very well played from Nick. Just basic stuff. Unfortunately for Nick though, very close level-wise with the Shaker. Kim not having an opportunity to really leave the lane right now as Prod takes a whole bunch of damage.
Kix here, though. Yeah, Kim did not realize that. Just kind of stuck in a man fight with the opposing support, and all of a sudden, well, Leshrac shows up. He's very angry, and he does a lot of damage with the Pulse Nova. So there's SG's first kill. Of course, that rotation from KXY does mean that Nico was able to bottle up that regen rune, but the Lesh gets to move while the Void stays in lane. That's kind of the opposite of what you normally expect between those two heroes.
Yeah, and something that KXY really tries to stray away from as well. He does not like to rotate around those real rune timings, and in doing so, well, does he get the cask? He's got the Fissure coming in to help as well, but they need the Maledict, and they've got him.
KXY gonna just try and fight for as long as he can here. He did get Pingu. He's actually not dying. The Maledict may not... Okay, well, that's definitely gonna secure it, as Kim's gonna sacrifice his life for it. But I don't know. If you're the cut... I mean, you lost Kim, you lost Pingu. Nick just got taken down in the bottom lane once they realized that he's by himself there, and... A little bit of an awkward exchange. KXY does eventually die, but it's just a very costly play.
No, that was very expensive, and I think just trying to press the issue a little bit too hard there. And, well, you give the lane over to the Rubik, and Rubik got so much out of that. If you didn't get any of the XP or much of the XP for the Leshrac, well, the Rubik does. And
KXY rotates again.
Okay,
Pingu
running
should
out of mana
die here. Oscar goes down in exchange, and KXY, yeah, without the mana, I don't know how much further he wants to go, but he's put both Neeko and Scourge in a position where they don't have a crazy amount of health, and they already kind of used a lot of their cooldowns, so that is going to be the end of the fight. But again, well, Witch Doctor goes down, but Oscar falls too, so last time the cut paid too heavy a price, this time the trade does go in their favor.
Yep, slightly better. KXY is still happy, though, that he just gets the gold from that engagement, as Neeko, bullied off the rune, is atop. Nope. Gets lucky, but unlucky that there's a Prada there who will just kill it.
He's actually going to... Okay, he'll take it for himself. Not much he can do with that, to be honest, but hey. Fast Dawnbreaker. Look at her go.
And maybe Nick...
Yeah, hold on a second. There's the Chrono. Do they have the damage for this? He's getting some nice bashes, though, but... Kim tries to come in. Can he save the day? No, he can't. Prada gets the kill. And that second TP was apparently canceled. So once they realize we can't save the Visage, they do just decide not to commit. That is Chrono down, I guess, but 8.5 minutes in, what else are you going to use a Chrono for, right?
Yeah, and really, now Yuma, if he wants to, he can just greed out for his Midas, which will be a killer Midas timing. I don't know, it does feel quite nice. I almost can't believe that he got that Starbreaker over the Fissure, because that was a very well-placed Fissure, but just didn't buy enough time. And Nick is gunning for his level 6, but he himself is feeling scared to show in these lanes. Just too much magic damage, and with the Shaker here, scouting out, he will feel a little bit more comfortable, but top. Spear back. But here comes the Void.
Pingu got a nice ward down here as well, so they do have some vision on Oscar. So Neeko knows that he can make a move. LTH is gone, so it's Oscar alone. Where's your Remnant? He's not going to throw it out yet. Instead, they get the cask down first. That leads into the Remnant. But there's going to be the Rina. The Spear Stun is there. Oscar's going to try to make a break for it, but neither Scourge nor Neeko care in the slightest about Arena. They both jump out of it. The trade does still get made as Pingu gives his life for it. But now Scourge and Neeko are on the run, trying to make it through the tree line. It looks like they'll survive and TP home. But elsewhere on the map, that's Yuma picking up his first kill as they bully up onto the Earthshaker.
Yep, bottom lane still going very SG favored. KXY keeps on rotating, which is starting to become funnier and funnier, because even though he's finding the return kills, this is a point on Leshrac where you could just use Edict on mid, and okay, it's a race for the regen rune, and Prada will kill it. But this is a great cask.
Okay, KXY's in some serious trouble here. He's trying to get out, but he can't really go
he's
anywhere.
Dead.
Straight dead. Stun from Kim now. Connecting onto Prada. Stolen Dissimulate from LTH, and Neeko had to use the Astral Step Charge to get away. Meanwhile, Kim just threw out his ultimate there, trying to lock down LTH, who uses the Stolen Dissimulate to try and get onto Neeko, but now he's out of damage. 1 second for Fadebolt. Can he last? Yes, he can. He gets the kill, and now LTH doesn't care. He says, kill me. I did what I wanted.
Yeah, it's funny, because he had the juke spot. He was doing it perfectly, and then it's like, oh, you've got this cheeky ward. Yeah. You'll see it.
There you
Guilty
go.
ward.
Yep.
He knows, but still, it's funny that ends up killing him. But clawing back something and punishing KXY for going for those runes, and again, not really playing for his own game, playing for his teammates, playing more so to get something going on these side lanes. But that's also where Yuma got his Midas. He did greed out for it, and he's going back bottom, but this is just him. There's the Solar Guardian, chained up. Oh, he's so dead.
And now he's got to angle the familiars out of here too. When they pick any of them off, they get one. Yuma gets an extra 100 gold. And they should get the second. Yuma's going to time walk for it. That's... And then he Midases afterwards. Oh, man.
Yeah,
the amount
he
of
is
money.
Top of the net worth.
He didn't get the kill. Prada does grab that, but he gets assist gold. He gets 2 familiars. He gets his Midas down. That gap is starting to widen a little bit. Nico, though, on the move. Let's see what he can find here. Finds the Sentry Ward. They're going to be able to deward that at least, but no opportunities for kills, which brings us back to what you said, ET. It's just kind of funny because Nico, he's 1-1 in 5. It's not like he's been inactive. It's just somehow the Void Spirit has been rotating less than the Leshrac, which just isn't really the way it's supposed to go.
Yeah, it's just a case where I think Nico is saying that I don't really have the best damage right now. I'm going to go more for the farming build, push out my waves, and if Leshrac isn't taking his tower, he doesn't really need to be too worried, as he just gets stunned at mid, and it's a lot of HP, but should be able to walk out. Does have to get kind of cheeky with it, and dude, Prada is just on point today, and he's level 8. He has gotten so much out of these kills and in these side lanes. He just has not skipped a beat. This is not your passive support who's shoved aside. He is a real damage dealer and a real threat.
And the best part about this, I mean, you take a look at his build, he doesn't even have anything. He's working with boots, a cloak, and a fluffy hat, and he's still 5-1 and 2. So just getting the absolute maximum out of his kit here. It's been incredibly impressive. Of course, 5-1 and 2, I'd say 2 or 3 of those kills were technically taken away from Yuma, but in at least one of those circumstances, I don't think they get the kill if Prada doesn't take it away. So, you know, you might as well just get the kill on anyone as opposed to potentially missing out and whiffing on a Chronosphere play. So Prada will enjoy the fruits of his labor. In the meantime, a couple of heroes hanging out here in this bottom lane, looking to see if Nick comes forward, but after getting picked off 3 times now, he's not going forward. No way.
And look at this. Top lane. Bezos Void smoked on. Gotta be really clean with their kill here, but here we go.
First stun's in. They hit him up. There's a Solar Guardian coming in, though, so Yuma's got time. And this is going to get a little bit awkward. Prada should die here. The Omni Slash is going to be deployed, but Chrono's back up. Yuma could try to make a move. And there it is. Chrono connecting. Prada's not even dead yet. Prada may just not go down at all. Double kill for KXY, looking for the triple. Now pushing on to Pingu. It's Yuma who's going to take it, but it's still 3 kills. And Kim, he may not be getting out of here either. Can anyone catch up to him? Oscar does not have a blink, does not have a time. Oh, he goes for it! Now he only gets Prada and then immediately tips him afterwards. So as cool as that was to see Kim aka Moose go for that, that's 4 for 1 across the entire map.
No, that's a pretty sour trade for you, but your Shaker got maybe another 200 gold to his name, you know, inching ever so closely to that Blink Dagger. You get the bottom tower as well, but really all of that is just so quickly dispelled by, again, Prada. Perfect Solar Guardian, perfect play in. He's got 1500 HP. It's almost not worth it for the cut to try and kill him with how beefy he is. He's just not a target. He's just not someone they can kill just yet, which is funny because it just is not the way that this player especially has had the opportunity to play a lot of these heroes. This is usually the guy that's dying for his team as a ward, but instead he's just become such a key player. And sure, they do start farming quite heavily, and in that downtime, Nick does get very close to that Wraith Pact, and of course, once we get that Wraith Pact, then the question always becomes BKBs, how much you can actually output during these timings where, well, your damage is cut by 30%. Not just that, but just being able to straight up kill the Wraith Pact is also going to be sort of difficult for SG. They don't really have the fastest ranged auto clicker. It's going to be a little bit troublesome, but so we're looking in the mid lane. A lot of tension here. Haste run on Void Spirit. Cart's up as well, but once the cart dies, they're trying to glyph for it, but gonna have the birds to tank in, and here's the Wraith Pact.
Okay, they popped it. They got KXY caught with the Remnant. They're gonna try for it. Solar Guardian's coming in too late. This KXY will still fall. Now Prada's kind of stuck in the middle of this. Is anyone else coming over? Yuma is looking to move, but he has no Chrono, so I don't know how far they really want to go. He's gonna try to pop the dilation there. And now Oscar comes in. Arena's going to get thrown out. They get the spear stun onto Lil Nick, and they will take him out. Meanwhile, Pingu was channeling out his ult there, not really doing much damage, and then LTH steals it. This looks very strange, but it looks like Pingu will eventually fall. Maybe not. Nico trying to come in. Astral steps forward, but LTH catches him with the telekinesis. He's able to dissimulate himself, though, onto the Rubik for the kill. And now here comes Scourge into the engagement, looking for the first kill. They take down Prada. They want Oscar as well, but Yuma's going to drop his chrono. At this point, though, Yuma, you can't stay here. He's going to back it off now, but defensive chrono used on the back end of the fight. The cuts still get really a lot of what they wanted there, especially considering KXY was not even a part of that. He dies right at the very start and didn't do any damage. And now needs to be careful he doesn't die again. There's going to be the stun, but...
Oh, yeah, they just came back here, and if they get him... Oh, no.
Oh,
well,
man. Forgot about Nico. Steals Resonant Pulse, that's nice, but it does not help your Leshrac, who just picked up 2 deaths and lost his tier 1 tower mid.
Yeah, and that's where it's just the Healing Ward, the Wraith Pact, the Voodoo Restoration even. The numbers are just a little bit too big for SG to deal with, and it's that 5-man that we always talk about with the Wraith Pact picked up by Visage that always just changes the game, where you just suddenly can afford to take these super long, messy team fights. And then, of course, Nico getting 2 of the real runes. He got a Haste rune, then immediately got a DD rune that was just kind of sitting there in the river, so works out for him. But it's also where if you're SG, you just blew a lot of your spells. You have to now wait. You are way more cooldown reliant than your opponents are, so you can't fall into that trap of, okay, we were ahead by 3k 2 minutes ago, but we don't have our ultis. We're not strong right now. We can look for maybe a play with our Mars. That's why we drafted it, but we can't look for everything right now. And that's where they do have to try and get a Soul Guardian play going together with the Arena, where that play is a little bit more difficult to execute than with the Chronosphere, but gotta be so careful now. And also, KXY just needs to be very cautious. He can't really afford to die again. And looking at his items, he's got Kaya, he's got the point booster. He's closing in, but I don't know. Neither of those build into the Bloodstone rush that I was kind of expecting out of him.
Well, we'll see. Might pick it up later on down the road. For now, though, he needs to either win a fight or focus on farming, because those 2 deaths really did kind of set him back a bit. He's on par with the opposing offlaner in terms of his overall net worth, which obviously is not where he wants to be. But the good news in all of this is that Yuma was still farming. He's still top of the net worth. It's just his gap between himself and the Juggernaut has very much closed. So your SG Esports, there's no need to panic, but the next team fight needs to be a little less hectic for them. It just felt like that was a mad scramble around their tier 1 tower.
Yeah, and the scramble that eventually they lost pretty handedly, just because I think of the few wasted opportunities. But looking over at top, well, Echo was used. Oscar is kind of trapped here, but if he's able to create distance, yeah, he's out. Kim wasn't able to stick on him, and without long-range disables, great cover by LTH as well. Okay, Echo down.
Good attempt from Kim, but not quite there. They didn't know he had a Blink Dagger before. They sure as hell know now. Meanwhile, LTH got his hands on the early Aether Lens here as he's going to try to put a little damage onto Kim, and this might actually be a kill. They actually dropped the Chrono, and they did clip onto the Void Spirit. Can they get the secondary kill? Solar Guardian is going to get in there, but he has 2 Astral Step Charges, so they have to keep him locked down, and they do exactly that. Just really the most casual of plays there, turning into a massive Chrono in from Yuma, and now in the river. Pingu just got caught by the spear. Oscar's gonna not take him down yet. He's got the Voodoo Switcheroo. But once that ends, they do find the kill. Prada takes it, and that's a quick 3 for SG Esports that opens up a push onto this mid tower. Who's in position to defend?
Open the map. Yeah, and this is why Leshrac is such kind of one of those killer heroes, especially in comp, because buildings just are the cost. You can always afford to just look for that next objective. And now SG do have a slight problem, and that's that they can never really force out the Roche too easily. I think maybe once you get a damage dealing item from Yuma, probably just to complete a Mjolnir, you could force it, but until then the Cut kind of have that as a play in their back pocket, and we'll see, because that's what the Cut are gunning for right now. If they get a pick on this top side of the map, then immediately they swing for Roche, knowing that you don't have Chrono, you don't have Solar Guardian, and then SG, we're going to be pretty helpless versus it, even though great scan.
Well, with the money that he got from that last engagement, KXY did actually go for the Bloodstone, so he is now going to double back, turn the Kaya into a Kaya Sange, but a little bit of a sidestep there in his own build. But we do get to see just how impactful the Bloodstone will be. We actually did see it in the last Leshrac game as well. It's just by that point we were kind of on the very back end, and that Lesh was in so much trouble in those team fights that it didn't really help him. So now on a more even footing, we'll see what KXY can do with it. In the meantime, that was BKB finished off for Yuma, so you have BKB, you have Bloodstone on Lesh. Oscar is working towards his own BKB, but he's already got the Blink, so if they really do need initiation, he is going to be there. And they may need that initiation, ET, because this is a very sneaky Roche attempt out from the cut. They don't take this quickly, though, so that is going to create a window for SG to get over here.
Yeah, watch Oscar. The Mars is the one that's going to break. He is just going to spin on the Roche's death, but this is just maybe a breath. Only plays a Remnant.
Oh, Oscar, he's still going to get the arena down, though, but they've got to fight for Roche. Who grabs it? Yuma takes it. The kill does go the way of the cut, but they don't have the Aegis, and now Scourge, he's got to get the hell out of here, but the Chrono is going to catch him out. He's stuck in this. He's going to go down. They lose Nico, too. Oh, ET, this is the worst possible scenario. Maybe Nick can get out to just spare them something, but it is rough. And Yuma, I think he's going to lose this Aegis potentially if the Maledict takes him down. There's going to be the Voodoo coming out too. But at this point, I mean, you took that Aegis away, so even if you lose it now, it does not matter. It's done its job.
No, and that was an Aegis you really didn't care about, but oh, it's such a good idea from Scourge. He just goes for the Omni. He needs damage. They try to burst the Mars, but then, of course, the Omnia Mars, all of that just gets tanked up by Bulwark. It gets split between you and the Rubik, and because it's RNG and it bounces you, you end up inadvertently pulling yourself away from the Roshan, where he has to walk up and spin towards Roche to hopefully try and snatch it, and it just doesn't play out for him, while Yuma has the easiest job in the world. Just pops his BKB, sits on top of the Roche, just right-clicks it. The Jug just gets pulled away by maybe 200 units. It's so close, but it doesn't work, and you get punished. And now what was a great forcing play just wasn't fast enough, and maybe if they just veer into the Roche a little bit sooner instead of gunning for that pick, then maybe they get it, just brute strength of the lineup, but that is a huge setback.
See now, net worth-wise, 6k lead for SG, largest lead of the game by far. And a setback that the Cut are going to have to recover from. They do still have some solid team fight to put together here, but, well, not if Nick gets picked off like this. There's the arena. He stone forms the arrow, or excuse me, spear. But does he have help? He needs backup. Scourge is trying to come in, but the telekinesis actually catches him, so Nick really doesn't have backup. And LTH is using a stolen spin to get up onto that fight, but now they're looking to turn. KXY is going to get caught, but Solar Guardian comes in, prevents him from dying. Pingu's the one to fall, but look at that. Kim is in. That's a big ult, but it doesn't kill anyone just yet. They'll finally finish off the Lesh, but it does cost Kim his own life. Nico, though, should be able to get away here, maybe. Yuma, 2 more seconds for a time walk. Gonna have to guess correctly in the trees. Well, okay. Never mind, he's going to dissimulate himself out, but Oscar blinks forward. They still get the hit down, and they are going to track onto this Void Spirit, just never letting him go. And now the KXY kill, it just doesn't matter. 4 for 1, another win for SG. Now they're going to TP mid to try and catch Scourge. I don't know if they do it. Does Yuma have an... Oh, he has Chrono, but he doesn't have mana.
10 mana, though, in Scourge. He has to turn and get it off, but it's... No, it's too late. Fable just, to make sure he has enough damage. As soon as Scourge walked to the low ground there, then there's nothing he could do. As soon as he can't see the Chrono coming, he can't go for the turnaround Omni, but even then, that would have had to be kind of insane timing from the Jug, but yeah, unfortunate. Cutter just kind of getting outplayed right now.
And I mean, you go all the way back to the start of that ET. That whole fight starts with a casual initiation from Oscar onto Nick, and Nick played it well, right? Maybe he gets out, maybe he doesn't, but once the Cut bring everyone else to the fight, it's more than that. It turns into the full 5v5, and these 5v5s are not fights that you've been winning, so if you're the Cut, maybe now you kind of ease off. There's no need to escalate fights to that sort of scope when you don't have the advantage.
Yeah, and that's where the strength of this new Leshrac, and of course Leshrac is pretty much the only hero that buys Bloodstone at this stage of the game, but you just have so much HP to work with, and with Prada, who's got Holy Locket, who's got Solar Guardian, just being so obnoxious throughout the entire game, is kind of getting seeked out here, and yeah, we'll get his TP stunned, he's getting birded up, and actually both supports getting picked off. Yeah,
both Rubik and Dawnbreaker will fall. They are attempting to catch up to KXY here. There's going to be the Fissure. There's going to be the Omni. Bloodstone is kind of helping, but it's not enough. KXY will fall. That's what the cut really needed at this point, right? Just find fights where you have the numbers advantage or the initiation and work off of that instead of reacting or sometimes overreacting to plays that their opponents were making onto them.
Yeah, that was purely just a punish of SG not actually scouting out and killing this Observer Ward. They just walk to their vision and find a good few picks here. And of course, everything we just talked about with the Leshrac being incredibly tanky and strong is really only there if you can react with the Solar Guardian. Of course, now it is an Ag Scepter Solar Guardian, so that's going to be even more problematic, but a whiff from Oscar as well. Okay, SG, not really connecting.
Okay.
Yeah, birds are dead, but there is a resummon.
Consolation prize, I guess. 200 gold split between those two, but as you say, Familiar's right back up, and that's Arena down. Of course, you know, the resummon is on a bit of a cooldown itself, but Nick should be able to manage those birds well enough where that's not going to be a problem. But now for Oscar, well, this is a bit of an interesting one. He's going to go for the Agnum Scepter ability, which we did get to see a little bit the other day. It's a lot of money that a lot of Marses don't really care to spend on it, but the ability to just have that upgraded Bulwark to just stand in front and demand attention and still do damage, in the right circumstances, it looks pretty damn good as... Uh-oh. KXY? Not looking so good here. He's going to have to back out. There's the stun in from Moose, though, but before they can make a move, Pingu gets ambushed.
Yeah, and without Maledict, I think that Lesh kill is a pretty hopeful jump, so instead they just back off, but they're actually looking towards mid again. Yuma TP's out at top, so the rest of the lineup has to follow him, and Nick probably will be able to make his escape here, but Yuma also knows that he's around, because you do have to keep those birds so much closer that those Gravekeeper cloak debuff does actually show, and the birds actually become very killable, but Nick ducks into the trees, and without that high ground ward, he will be able to escape, and then TP, and then meet up with his birds, but little does he know, there's a smoked Mars and Rubik, perhaps looking for someone in the triangle, but it looks like that will dissipate in just a few moments here, and we're going to get back to a reset territory.
Do the cut continue pushing forward like this, though? You see all five sort of making their way into that south side jungle, so... Well, they make their way over into the woods. The problem is there's no actual target anymore, because SG very quickly trying to shift their focus back up to the north, which has kind of been their stomping grounds for a little bit here, right? They've got the towers taken, obviously. They've got some good vision, just sort of scouting out the entrances there as well, so... At this point, that is basically their territory, part of the reason why the cut are now operating on the south side of the map.
Yeah, and just picked up an Aether Lens on the Shaker. And they do have a fantastic ward that they will be able to scout out, but smoked up yet again here, trying to close that distance. Gotta be so careful. They will settle for Nick if they get him, and they're gonna get two.
Okay, there's the Arena, catching out. Scourge, waiting to see if he can go in here, but there's gonna be that Chrono. There is gonna be a Remnant into the Chrono that kind of slows Yuma down, but it won't be enough. They've already lost Moose. Looks like Nick is going to buy some time with a Stone Form. The switcheroo comes out from Pingu, though, so that is a nice little bit of damage, but look at the Solar Guardian. He's trying to maneuver it around. It is going to connect, and Scourge, not only does he not find any kills, he doesn't get back out. Now Nick dies too, and... I don't know what it was that Scourge saw in there that made him want to go in, because for the longest time, he was just operating on the edge of that Chrono, sort of waiting and watching, but eventually he pulls the trigger, and again, the cut escalate a fight where they don't have the advantage.
Yeah, and they feel like they can take it because Chrono was a little bit wasted, just not able to get many kills, but you were able to take down the Shaker, and I think that's the most important thing. You lose your Echo Slam, you lose a lot of your control, and you lose your Void Spirit as well, because he doesn't have enough confidence to go in unless these heroes are getting stunned. You can't play that touch and go style, because, well, they'll just straight up kill you if you get too close, and you don't have a BKB on the Void Spirit, so it ends up being a lot less damage that I think Scourge was perhaps banking on, because he sees the Chrono, he feels like, oh, we should probably be able to take this fight, but then, because there's no Shaker, they end up just having to kind of concede. But kills when Roche wasn't alive. As we always talk about, SG weren't able to immediately get onto an objective, so doesn't feel the worst,
They're
and
looking,
that's why
but
they smoke. But Kim gets scared. Cold feet. Out now.
probably for the best. They were going to have at most 3 heroes in there, going up into what could have been the full 5 on the high ground of SG, so cold feet, probably going to work in their favor. Kim says, not feeling it, but they're still hanging out heroes in the middle lane. Nico is trying to keep that creep wave pushed out, which at this point does become pretty important with Roche only 20 seconds away from respawning, but you have to be so unbelievably careful, because if Nico gets caught, a fight around the Roche pit just really isn't going to be as feasible for the cut. They can't afford to lose any cores at this point.
No, they cannot, and 5-man smoke. They don't need to 5-man smoke necessarily on SG. I'm surprised that Prada isn't finding a lane to just sit in and push out while the rest of the lineup makes moves, but Pingu, as Blink Dagger, will pop the smoke, gets away. Very nice from him. Void is still smoked, so a little bit scary, but this is also just dewarding, and they will scout Roche, and now the cut are the ones that need to get this information, and it looks like they're prepping a smoke on their own side, but they do have to go.
Yeah, it's too slow. Already down to about, what, 2/3 of its HP before they start moving, and they actually aren't smoked right now.
Yeah, they don't have one. It would have come out late on the courier, but
they're not
now
even going
this
towards
is
Roche
just free
anymore.
Roche. Yeah, not pretty.
They were all grouped up and thinking about it. It's like, let's go, let's go, let's go. And then presumably one of the supports says, guys, we don't have any smokes. We can't smoke. And they're just going to have to bail on the play. Aegis into the hands of Yuma. Oscar's the one to take the shard here. So, well, yeah, why not, right? Oscar's initiations have not been back-breaking to this point, but yeah, he's been doing well enough where, you know, the spear onto 2 could do some nice work, although KXY, yeah, he's alone in the middle lane. They are going to make the jump. They throw quite a bit out onto him, both the Echo Slam and the Death Ward being used there, but hey, that is a massive kill. Now there's no Leshrac to be the battering ram here in this top lane, so if this push even comes, it's not going to be nearly as effective as Oscar just going to pick a couple of pokes with his spear, but half the lineup just TP'd body T, so they're really split across the map, and Yuma, well, I don't think he wants to commit the chrono in there, so real opportunity here for the cut to try and get away, but there's going to be the chrono, okay. He does commit it eventually, but does he have enough? Nico's still alive, but the Fade Bolt's going to come in to help, and oh, now they're looking for more. Pingu, yeah, they saw you. Tried to throw the cask in there, but that just reveals his location.
Yeah, and even though Chrono is used, another batch of kills for Yuma. Yuma's going to be 25 soon. He's just so massive. And then, of course, Backtrack's going to make him even more difficult to kill. But we'll have to see, because, yeah, without the Leshrac again, can't really push down these objectives too easily. It is a little bit of a struggle for them, as well as I think at this point might just buy the boots of travel on the Leshrac to get him back onto these lanes a little bit faster. But if the cut can keep on finding him, that will almost inherently delay this game and give them a little bit more time, just keeping him sidelined as long as you can. I almost wish that they can keep on finding him, so that way this game doesn't just straight up end. But that's also where all SG needs to do is find a kill, find a pickup on the cut side of the map, and then Leshrac walks in, and then everything dies.
Right. Your base defense is looking a little bit iffy if it's the Leshrac who's knocking on the doors. Up in the top lane, well, they do spot Kim here. Not a whole lot that can be done. He did get his ult back up, but he couldn't kill anyone even if he popped it, so he will hold his fire. The pick comes through, and now they're going to look for Little Nick here as well. There's going to be the slow from the Lightning Storm into the stun. Yuma's in for the time dilation as well, and there is absolutely no way Nick's getting out of here at this point, although they just spotted Scourge. They're going to try and hit him up as well. Can they bash him in his spin? They can once or twice, and now with the Solar Guardian coming in as well, Nick is going to fall, and Scourge is in trouble. He has to Omni Slash himself just to avoid that initial damage. Nico's going to try to come in to help, but it's just not going to matter. Scourge is gone, and Nico needs to get the hell out of dodge.
And even though there is a creep wave mid, they're not going to be able to connect on that one. They will instead have to go in through the bottom lane, which also doesn't feel too bad.
Nico, don't stop to farm.
Oh, they're pinging him. LTH. Oh, they want to kill the Rubik so badly. He has Fissure still, and well, there you go. The Aftershock. That's why this is something you cannot allow LTH to get, but he swiped it out, and now LTH is the most fearsome hero on the map. And mid well, got the Spear Arena. Oscar gets a kill as well, and they're all dead. The Cut are no longer living, and, well, onto the tier 3s.
He was safe. He was so safe. He stops to farm one camp. Just one camp. And it costs Nico his life. That leads then into the further kills, and okay, maybe they couldn't take a fight if you're the Cut, even if Nico lived, but you'd at least have someone alive to act as some sort of deterrent here, because without anyone alive, SG, this is free. They're just in. They're even splitting their focus between the lanes because they know that they can get both before the Cut's at full strength.
Fisher on Fisher action, but you have Chronosphere. Be very careful, the Cut. If he gets any wind of you, and oh, if he knew, he just didn't have the vision there, but he would have blown his Chrono on that, and that would have been just more kills that they would have been able to play over.
There it is.
Okay, still found something in Nick.
Can
Spread
they save
focus.
him? Well, not with the BKB being activated. Nick is in some trouble. Nick is going to go down. No buyback available. Yuma now onto Pingu. They're going to find the secondary kill. Oscar's thinking about going on to Scourge, but that is a little bit far. That's diving tier 4s, so he is going to back off, but that upgraded Bulwark is just making it so that no one from the Cut wants to go in onto him. They will try into KXY, but I don't know if this is a great idea. He's healing up so much with the Bloodstone while Yuma does work on the back line. Oscar now comes in as well. They're going to be able to take out Nico. Scourge drop low. Scourge taken down, and that's it. GG called. SG Esports. It's now a 10-game winning streak, ET. They are at the absolute top of their game.
No, just super solid game from Yuma. Again, stand-in situation for the Cut. Aren't able to play with B-God, which is kind of unfortunate because another roster that also feels pretty warm in this tournament. But no, SG just looked too good. They looked too solid, abusing the Bloodstone on KXY, on Leshrac, just making it look so nice. But then they've got some classics. They have Mars Rubik. They've got Yuma Faceless Void. Prada balling out control as well. Everybody just had a great individual performance where I think on the Cut, just a little bit too slow, a little bit of, I think, a misstep when it comes to some of their decision making as well. You know, you look back at the first Roche, how everything just kind of blows up in their face. How the Cut weren't able to get it as cleanly. And then everything after that, I think just a few uncharacteristic mid-game deaths for Scourge himself. I think he just ended up, trying to press the issue a little bit too much. Goes down, doesn't end up nearly as farmed as he really is in a lot of his other games. And because he's a very selfish carry player, well, you're playing against a very selfish carry player as well. Just doesn't have, I think, enough going for him in this game. And of course, Yuma Faceless Void, it looks good. Doesn't take the 20 talent where he gets the attack speed and Chronosphere, but time lock damage didn't change, so Yuma doesn't feel really bothered in the slightest. But yeah, just great draft, great play from SG.
And once again, Yuma pitches a perfect game at 14-0 and 19 across this 10-game winning streak. This is now the 6th time, I think, that he has had a 0-death game. So he's hot. The team's hot. Prada turns a position 5 Dawnbreaker into what looked like a core at 9-4 and 21. So they are just unbelievably stacked right now with this current iteration of the lineup. And the question for the Cut is now, what adjustments do they make? How do they look to bounce back? Because we mentioned at the start, ET, they only need 1 point out of this series to get upper bracket. So game 2 could be their redemption arc, but you're going to have to put together something stronger than this.
Yeah, and I don't know. Of course, once we get into the lobby, we'll have to see what the pick position is, but maybe they don't go for the Shaker. Maybe they instead just turn the draft around and perhaps try Marcy Visage instead. I don't know. I feel like in lane, we just didn't see anything kind of work. They just ended up walking away. Prada got way too much. The Dawnbreaker was too effective as a stopper, and I think Nick just didn't find enough time or space. And maybe even it's time to retire the Visage and then look for a hero like the Beastmaster that we've seen so many times picked up in that same position, but just could probably lane a little bit better versus Faceless Void because you have that stacking damage. Who knows? Too many hypotheticals. The Cut, they're going to look for that mental reset and just come on into game 2 with maybe a slightly different idea, but I think they're still going to rest on their laurels a little bit.
Well, we will have to wait and see. Game 2 coming up next in really just a couple of minutes, so stick around, folks. We'll be right back with the start of that draft. Right, you're trying to get into that center. You've got Trample from Primal Beast and Pulse Nova from Leshrac just all over the ground. It's not really a scenario any of the heroes that they have right now are going to want to be in. The Mars is the tankiest one they have, and even he's going to have trouble surviving that, as SG will go in for the Rubik again. So The Lesh and the Rubik both making returns, and to be honest, LTH, he played a pretty spectacular Rubik game in the previous match, as they do go for the Scourge Bristle. So, well, ET, it's their last game. They need a win. Their backs are against the wall. They're going to go with the Old Faithful for Scourge.
Yeah, he's going to try to hog it up, and I hope that they're not going to miss out on that Lina pick that I think would have felt pretty good for them. And we saw yesterday, Lina versus Leshrac is still very Lina favored. You just kill him when he tries to run in. Now you don't get Lina, because Lina's been banned out. So I hope that this isn't something that's going to end up biting them. But yeah, no, that was the obvious pickup, and for a very good reason. Of course, Lina versus Primal Beast was maybe something the cut we're thinking about there, because that does sound like a pretty dead Lina if you're ever able to close that gap. But if you were able to keep those heroes at arm's length, I feel like that makes Leshrac's game almost unplayable. But that's why it's banned out. That's why they're not allowed to it, and that's why we're going to have to see a lot from Scourge McDuck's Bristleback. And we get to see how his lane is actually going to pan out versus the Primal Beast. If the Nasal Goo is perhaps enough for him to slow and run away, where maybe the Primal Beast can't close the gap. A lot of maybes in that sentiment, but we'll have to see, because again, Primal Beast does just punish you anytime you do make a mistake in the lanes. Just still does a little too much damage, but that's also where two differing paths here. The cut need Neeko's hero, SG need a Yuma hero for sure, and we'll have to see what that ends up being, because right now feel like versus Bristleback, Weaver's still in the pool. You could look at a hero like the Terrorblade. I think anything sounds pretty alright. Just something that's going to be obnoxious. And of course, versus Dark Willow, you've got no hard stun really on the cut. Weaver's probably the easy one that they go for.
Yeah, not onto the PA there, so... Okay, high damage output, and I suppose with the Bristleback, you're maybe a little bit afraid of the Fan of Knives out from the PA too. That could kind of sap away a lot of your durability, so ban it away. But now let's see, what is the call gonna be from Yuma? Does he just take something like the TB, like you said, hard farming illusion carry? Do they look for something a little more fight oriented like the Weaver? They do have options. I will say the Weaver leaves them a lot less durable with this lineup, but Primal Beast and Lesh presumably are going to be able to sort of pick up the slack on that front in terms of frontline fighters.
Yeah, and kind of racking my brain, because I don't know. You want somebody that eventually builds up Scotty. You want somebody that could build into perhaps just simply the Silver Edge, and they do go for Luna. Okay. I was thinking, because they took a while, is that going to be like your Drow Ranger, again, Weaver type heroes? And they do go for something that's maybe a little bit more committal. Of course, Luna has no inherent escape. You've got no natural dispel. You have to work for every item. But you're a carry with mixed damage. You have a lot of magic coming from your ulti. You've got a lot of physical DPS as well. Of course, you're playing versus a Bristleback, so maybe there are going to be some problems down the line, but it's a carry that I think can fight versus the Ag's timing on Bristle, which is kind of slim. You don't have a lot of carries that can actually do that, but that's where if you do get that BKB, and Scourge will be getting BKB probably second item after it, then you might have some issues, because everybody on the lineup right now is relatively low armor, is not too tanky. Everybody's got a lot of meat. They've got a lot of HP, but they could get kind of peeled through with the physical damage. I think that's something that is going to have to be a worry from at least, and maybe we'll see it itemization wise, because SG can become fragile if those fights drag on too long. And Ember Spirit, yep, another hero that they love pairing with the Bristleback for that exact same reason. You get those goose stacks up, you get that minus armor, then that Sleight of Fist just hurts a little bit more, and then you start to have a few problems here and there. But that's also where they do draft it into a very interesting lane. Don't get to see the Leshrac versus Ember really at all, but I think that's where we're going to see that lane a little bit more, just again with the Bloodstone changes, so that hero is a little bit more pickable. But a very skill-based lane. You have to dodge the Split Earth out. If KXY connects a few too many times, you start to really start losing trades, and then that doesn't become an Ember 50-50 draw lane. It starts to become a Leshrac favored lane. Not to mention, if KXY starts and begins to play maybe a little bit more conventionally on his hero this time around, anytime the Ember Spirit exits the lane, your tower will eat damage from that edict. So we'll have to see Neeko ride that same line that he did last game, which kind of worked out because KXY was just rotating like a madman. But this time around, anytime that Ember Spirit does go, your tower is probably just going to die.
Right. And we'll see as well for Neeko how he looks to approach this in terms of the skill build, how many points he wants to try and get away with putting into Flame Guard maybe if he does feel like that damage is a little bit too threatening for him. Because it will absorb a little bit, but then it takes your own damage and makes it significantly lower without the maxed Sleight of Fist. So, I don't know. Maybe he'll be risky. Maybe he feels he won't need more than maybe just the 1 or 2 points in it like we normally see. And at that point, you're free to sort of make rotations elsewhere on the map when you hit 6.
Yeah, and we will have to see, because a part of me thinks that, okay, the Cut, they've got a lot of anti-armor, they've got a lot of good damage and control in that regard, but that's also where arena is going to be so crucial for them. And if you're not getting heroes in that arena, the game can kind of blow up in their face, and really all of that damage is going to have to come out from the cores. We know what Mars can do, but Mars, as we always talk about, hits that 15-16 minute mark where you're full strength, and then 5 minutes later you're struggling to get your own solo kills. And that's where the Hand of God, the Bloodstone, the pseudo ways that you're going to be able to heal from SG, if they survive your initiation and start to consistently survive, that's where that snowball starts rolling. And well, the Cut, they can't really afford to ever lose a fight on their own soil, because as soon as they do, it's Leshrac, it's Luna, your tier 3 breaks open, and then suddenly I feel like you can't defend the racks.
Well, here we go. Voice lines being spammed out, but final game of the group stage here for both of these squads, and as we outlined earlier, well, the Cut need a win. 1 win and they're into the upper bracket. No win and we start looking to those tiebreakers, which, ET, we don't know exactly who's going to be in the tiebreak scenarios just yet, but regardless, it's going to be messy, and it's much easier to just win this match and lock yourself in, as little Nick asking for a little bit of mercy here, asking if maybe SG will go easy on them. Probably not, but, it's worth asking.
Well, and we'll see, because if they do end up going winless here, and maybe it's not the Cut that need to be worried, but 5-rat Force Staff, because the Cut did 2-0 them. So if both of these teams end up on the chopping block after we see a Wolf team play, and of course that's the next team that can make that alley-oop, well, the Cut do beat that team specifically in that 1v1. So that's where the Rats might have a sad bracket to look at the end of the day. But again, we'll see. Nothing confirmed either. Every tournament's a little bit different, but Cut definitely just want to win. Keep things simple.
Yeah, that is the simplest and most straightforward outcome for the Cut. Win and you are in. It does not get any simpler than that, but let's see if they can do it. They've got some, well, I think maybe slightly better lanes this time around than what they ended up working with in Game 1, so it will be a bit of a mix-up, though, from what I had originally been expecting. This is Moose down in the bottom lane, laning with the Bristleback, so I thought this was going to be the CM to try and deal with the Primal Beast. That's not the case so far.
Yeah, no, and it's an interesting swap-up, one that I don't really understand. I guess maybe they just want a little bit more magic damage, and of course, the real reason is they want Pingu versus Prada. They want the Frostbite of the Chen creep, but I don't know. We'll have to see, because in addition to that, they've also put Pingu kind of at risk here, because he wasn't able to get up towards top until the lane had already begun. So that medium camp is actually able to spawn. So, of course, Prada can't take it just yet, but he's getting good control of his camps, which is not what you want to see. And you will be able to answer those creeps, at least for the early stages with Frostbite. But it's where there is that teeter point where suddenly the CM isn't able to Frostbite everything down.
And yeah, putting Pingu in this lane gives you a little bit more advancer to Prada. It makes the combo with the Mars, I think, slightly easier to hit up on compared to the Willow as well. Although, I don't know. If your Dark Willow has Curse Crown, then, you do have that double stun. But just trying to play the matchups here a little bit for the Cut. We'll have to see if this actually pays off for them. If nothing else, Nick should at least still just focus on the farm. Even if there is 0 aggressive moves out of him and Pingu, just try and find your own, try and get that level 6 quickly, and for the most part, if you can, just kind of ignore Yuma, because the Luna's not going to care to fight here. This is all about farm at this point.
Yeah, and Yuma will be able to farm very nicely. Of course, has a little bit more damage to play with because of the Lunar Blessing. Nick should be able, though, to be annoying for a lot of these last hits, especially ranged denies and creeps like that, but we will have to see, because you get a few levels, and then again, you just always go up for damage. Not a kill lane, though, that we sometimes see for Lunas, because Prada is, you know, just the Chen. Maybe at level 5, but until then, it is just going to be farming and pulling.
And we see over in the middle lane, Neeko has opted for those 2 points in the Flame Guard, so he is maybe anticipating a little bit of that Lightning Storm spam out onto him, and, well, this is what we were saying. This does make things a little bit interesting, because if you have more points in the Flame Guard, obviously, your own damage takes a bit of a dive. As speaking of dives, Yuma is actually getting jumped under his tower. Pingu, he popped a mango, but didn't have the range to cast anything, so... I said before, Yuma's going to sort of ignore them and try to farm, but if they force the fight... We'll see. I don't believe Yuma's going to get baited into a second point in the Lucent Beam, and yeah, he does put the second in the Lunar Blessing right now, but there's going to be the root. And there's going to be a pause.
Yeah, that's
a little bit awkward. I don't think, even if he turned around for the spear now, he doesn't have the angle for it, but Pingu's playing up, and Frostbite, even level 1, it's not a crazy long route, but it would be enough for the spear to come through the next time around.
Yeah, and it is good magic damage-wise, but sadly, this is the problem of not getting control of that medium camp that we always see, because this Ogre Frostmage is actually just going to make Yuma's life so much easier. It actually just turns Pingu's right clicks into pretty much non-factors and rebuke damage into really just kind of rebuke harass. I don't know. I feel like this creep has just already kind of won this lane here for Yuma. It's that strong of a creep. Frost armor is nothing to mess with.
Get 5 more armor, move slow, attack slow. For how long? For 5 seconds? Yeah, that's unplayable if you're the cut. They have to... I mean, they have to basically do it with the spear combo, right? Because if they try to right-click it down, it's just not going to happen.
No, it's just got crazy uptime. It's where you can put it on both the heroes, you can put it on the creep itself. It doesn't really run out of mana either. If he feels like it's going to run out of mana, you just get a Basilius. 5-2.
Yuma, you are a goddamn liar. Who's asked him his CS, he says 5-2. he's at 13-2 right now, so I'm not sure what game he's playing. Unless we're talking about something different.
Oh, look at that. Kim's padding his stats too, yeah.
You liars. Can't believe you.
You see, this is what they call dramatic irony. But ex-teammates, whatever, they both actually still have the Infinity tag, so, stand-in situation.
Yeah, technically
funny to see
between Yuma, Kim, and Prada, there are more players tagged up as Infinity as SG in some of these situations, I think. So looks like we're ready to go. Still not sure what the pause was actually for. Might have missed the reasoning, but who cares? We're back into the game. Let's see how this one plays out. Yuma, well, he's got some tango still. Should be healing up just fine. Pingu is going to go in for the root, but they don't have the angle for a spear stun, so yeah. He should be just fine.
Yeah, and that's also where once Yuma gets a range up coming to him, well, anything that Pingu's going to do is going to be, halved effectively. But until then, just the farm. But yep, bottom, it's the Primal Beast lane. We all know it's coming. It's inevitable. And of course, doesn't even get the Shadow Realm off in that situation. Just too much damage.
And the little particles when he's got Quill Spray on him kind of trail behind him. Looks very funky, but Oscar does get first blood. It is worth noting Scourge was able to pick up a return kill there afterwards, but first blood bonus gold does go the Primal Beast's way. He's about to hit level 4 as well, so he'll have the Onslaught to work with, and that's when things get a little bit scarier in this safe lane for the cut.
As it always does. It always comes up, sneaks up behind you. And we'll see, because I didn't get to see that engagement as well, and I was wondering if it does actually pop any of those bristleback backs, and it actually does, so you do have to be careful. I think when you do actually go onto him, just make sure you don't have too many clothes, but is that a soul kill?
Yes,
yeah.
Indeed.
Hits level 6 beforehand, and when I say hits level 6 beforehand, he's barely level 5 on the Ember Spirit. KXY has just kind of really trailed away in this lane, and, well, the Ember hasn't left. The Ember's just dead. 3 points up in Edict. He doesn't get to press it now, but there's no glyph. He already forced out everything. KXY has huge opportunities in this lane. And supports are coming.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh.
Do they go in on him again? LTH, there's going to be the telekinesis. KXY is kind of out of mana at this point, though, so it is time to back. But Bramble Maze roots him up. Neeko, though, he's not 6. He can't go back in. Oh, boy. Almost rough there. If LTH had actually made that punish work, then that would have just been the lane over for the Ember. At least now he's got a chance to recover, but he still had to bring over Kim here on the Dark Willow, so he's out of lane for a little bit. That means Scourge is alone, and Oscar can't really kill him right now, but that also means Oscar's free to farm up just as easily until the supports come back.
Yeah, and we'll simmer down slightly, but here we go. 6-minute runes. And actually, the cut are a little bit more ready for you, but oh, Pingu got scared off. Didn't want to give his life to the Leshrac, I suppose, but in doing so, KXY gets an Arcane Rune now. Probably the best rune on that hero, and with it, he actually just TP's bottom. Okay, KXY. Onslaught's there. All they need to do is connect and Scourge. Oh, he doesn't know. Well,
they don't even need to stun him. They just don't bother. They just go in with the straight damage. They find the kill, and now this tower is going to get hit up as well. Did they see... I don't think they actually did. The Dark Willow is able to just sort of skirt around there and get away, but now this is a full creep wave. This is a siege creep wave too, and KXY is still here with maxed out Edict. Although now he sees Kim. It is time to go, but he's not going to make it out. Onslaught still hits even if you're in that Shadow Realm, but Neeko and Pingu, they've come in, and KXY doesn't have a lot of health or mana, so they have to try and get him out of here. Can Pingu catch up? Does not look like he can. In the meantime, Oscar trying to make his escape here as well, but I think they're going to be able to track him down. He does have some wand charges, so he could make this difficult, but not enough at the end of the day.
Nope. Pretty nicely played as well as just having the Remnant back. Gets his bottle filled up by the Dark Willow, so immediately back on the defensive to try and hold this mid tower. Oh, he's standing in the spot. Yeah. Very obnoxious, but dodges the Earth Splitter, but this mid tower, yeah. Deny? Nope.
Okay, KXY gets his target. That's a bit of a risky play, though, because if they don't see him in the lane, everyone kind of knows where that spot is, and he didn't have a lot of health, but you're still pushing into maxed out Edict, so you could very well lose a pretty sizable portion of your own HP before you even get onto the Leshrac, but it's a risk that pays off. SG claimed the tower. They did not get the tier 1 down bot, however. They came pretty close to it, but still with about 250 health remaining, but if SG can claim both of those early objectives, then they're going to be just kind of strolling their way across the map, and the Cut really can't afford to let that happen right now, because the Bristle hasn't left his lane yet. He's still farming well there, but eventually he's going to have to rotate into the jungle, and we would like for him to, you know, not get ganked continuously while he does that.
Yeah, and we will have to see how they do it, because funnily enough, even though it's a 2k gold lead for SG, all of the cores in this game are just really farmed. Nobody's really missed their mark. I think maybe for that mid-tower defense, if Nick was a little bit higher level, then he probably would have wanted to TP there, as, ooh, Yuma, so low. Not dead, but trying, it feels like. All it takes is a random crit, and then he could probably die, but trying to be as greedy as he possibly can while he waits for a probably just either a Morbid Mask or even just a Possessed Mask to get dropped here, but I think he got unlucky. Still hunting for it.
Now, he might just have to go back to base. Didn't drop for him, didn't get what he wanted, so he is going to back off. His teammates, though, will get that tower down bot. KXY, time for a trip back to base as well, because there's only so much regen that you can have on you before you have to go back, but there's both of those towers gone, so all of a sudden, the Southside Jungle ET becomes very, very risky for the Cut to operate in, and at the moment, if you're the Cut, what are you looking for? Who is the playmaker? Because the Ember, I guess, now has his remnants up, but we're still a long ways away from Nick having a Blink Dagger, so who has to be the guy right now?
Well, really, it is Neeko, but unfortunately, without a rune, he just doesn't have enough damage to make anything happen. So we might just see them wait all the way for that blink, and it should be like a 15-16 minute blink, but, well, that's a sad gank. Trying to gank the Luna at nighttime just doesn't pan out. Meanwhile, Nick does try to run down the Chen, and we'll get a good number of these creeps. Should be able to... Oh, no, the double heal.
Chain
Incredible.
healing. That is something.
Well, I guess it just works. Sure, doesn't get the every single creep. Was able to mop up something, but 10-minute carts should see this map open up a little bit more here. But bottom, Oscar getting punished, and well, Nico says, "Well, that's a kill, just thrown into my lap."
Yeah, tries for some damage onto Kim and might bring him down with one more hit.
Oh,
Okay.
man of God,
KXY's coming
really
in though.
hard.
Hold on. Oscar's not going to go down just yet to get the stun onto Nico. He's going to onslaught back in, and Nico's the one who dies. Oscar has to go down. Yeah, someone will finish him. But the cost... Oh, God, that's a buyback. Nico jumps to his remnant.
No.
KXY, though... Can KXY win this? No, he can't. Okay, Nico. I see you. Buy back into maybe 2 kills if LTH is going to get run down here, which he eventually will. That buyback works out pretty damn nicely.
Oh, Prada almost saved the game there. He canceled Nick's TP with a Mud Golem. He was just TPing underneath the tier 1, so that would have not been close in the slightest if the Mars is actually able to connect there. But thankfully, Nico can do that, because if he diebacks there and loses to that duo, the Cutter having a stern talking to after that play. But thankfully, it all works out for him, because you needed to get something out of there. That was a pretty dire straits, but also, man, this Primal Beast. This Primal Beast hero can just make it all happen. What a thing. And top, Nick, well...
Trample. Does he have a spear? No, he doesn't, so he is just dead.
One shot.
Hold on a second. Onslaught timer, 6 seconds away. Looking for a cutoff angle. He's going to get knocked back. Scourge comes in. And he's just going to charge for it. Onslaught is in there. At the same time, though, Yuma was caught out in the east side jungle farming, so they do turn that into a pretty spectacular trade. They're stealing the stack.
Stolen Pingu. That was a good 4 or 5 stack as well, and I think they did get to farm at the large camp before. The Leshrac might even have taken it, but the Luna was going for the Ancients and got punished. Really nice play.
Okay, that's a freebie. So able to stand on the ramp and have a kill come right to him. But the loss of Yuma there is kind of brutal. That's his first death, and this is a Luna that has been exclusively farming. No kills, no assists, no participation other than hitting on creeps, and he goes right back to it. It's not like you're really going to slow him down all that much, but killing him and taking away the stack means that this Luna is still in a manageable position instead of at the top of the net worth chart.
Yeah, for sure. They did get robbed, so it feels pretty nice as the onslaught gets Oscar out of top. But what a bit of a skirmish near the wards here. Pingu's trying to make space, and LTH is just sitting there. And he actually stole, the freezing field, and now you gotta run.
Oh, he actually cancels his own freezing field to get the telekinesis, but that sets KXY up for the stun. You're able to get away with the Ember, but Pingu does have to be sacrificed.
Yeah, just a little bit too far, a little bit too messy, but hey, you do what you gotta do. But we'll see, because Blink Dagger, I think, is coming out to Nick now, so you probably want a daytime smoke here for the cut. They would love to get some vision down as well, because right now they really only have that one slightly deep ward, and any play again that this Mars will be able to complete will just give space over to Scourge, who isn't getting the fastest ags I've ever seen him build up, but is something. And with Pingu TPing in, there's your smoke. They would love to either connect on a KXY and burst him mid into pushing that tier 1 tower, or look for the Luna, but there is a Primal Beast already set up here, so gotta be very careful. They would love to, and they got him.
There's the jump, the spear stuns in. Oscar's gonna try to charge and create a distraction, but he charges into the wall of the arena. And, well, KXY and LTH are both dead. Pulverize does come through, but if Yuma doesn't want to fight this, then there's no reinforcements, and he absolutely doesn't want to be in here. So Oscar is by himself. Spear stun, locks him to the tree. Yuma is going to pull the trigger, but now it's too late. If you wanted to go, Yuma, you had to go earlier. Now he's just trying to find something. Nick, spear stun, locks down Prada. Now that's terrible for Yuma. He goes into the fight, he uses his ult, he gets nothing. And they lose 4 heroes, really. And Tower should go down now as well.
Well, they will glyph it, and Leshrac's coming in hot, but they see his TP actually.
Spear.
Oh, he just died instantly. He has the Pulse Nova going. They gotta be careful.
First crown those on him, so he is going to get stunned up again right in the middle of all these heroes, and he's taken down again.
That's fantastic. And now Scourge shows up just to make sure that his tower dies. LTH has to lift and throw him away.
Is he actually...
Perfect stuff.
Okay, he's going to get out, but that's mostly because the cut don't care about him. They get the tower instead, but that's now 5 kills, 2 on the Leshrac. And a tier 1 tower. And that Lesh, I don't know. A TP a little bit further back might have been able to avoid that. And you look at his item build, ET. Last time he got the Kaya, then went in for the Bloodstone before finishing the Kaya Sange. This time, Kaya Sange comes first. What do you think about the choice in terms of the order?
I still think you should be rushing the Bloodstone, but I understand you're just giving yourself more casual mana when you're running around the map, which is something that the hero does need, but he just isn't very survivable. He just dies pretty easily, and okay. Well, Kim just dies in his own Shadow Realm, because, yeah, Primal Beast will do that, but one of the Cut have just fixed a lot of their issues with that one team fight. Now you're only 500 gold away from the Bristleback Ags, and then, of course, you immediately walk into the pit and force your opponents to either come and contest you or say what's up, but a little bit of fighting. Rune, yeah, runs away.
I do want to say, I like this build from Nico too, right? This is just kind of the fight build a little bit. Got the Maelstrom looking for a BKB right after. BKB also being worked on by the Mars. So they're going to hit a timing that's really going to allow them to take these engagements in the mid-game. Whereas SG, well, not really quite as sure, as Nick is going to make his move. There's the Spear Stun onto KXY. They cannot afford to lose him again. Going to try and heal him up with the Mech Hand of God comes through as well. So KXY for now is going to be able to get away. He did get clipped by the Fear, though, so he runs into the Bramble Root. But they still can't quite catch up to him. So SG, oh god, they do more than survive ET. They're going to smoke and try to reinitiate right as the Cut are starting to split up. This is getting very dicey. They're going to drop some vision down here, too. They would love to get onto Nico. They're going to hit him up. There's the first stun. There's the Pulverize. The Spear, though, will cancel it. But the Fade Bolt from LTH is there to get the job done. And that's a bold move, but they recognize, you know, we didn't actually lose too many heroes, even though we didn't take the fight we wanted before. So they just smoke up. They go in again, and now they're into the Roche Pit. And, well, that Ember Spirit, if you'll remember, did buy back earlier. So this Death Timer is a little bit hefty, and he has no way back in.
Oh, and they're going in. Oh,
Scourge's
no.
Gonna get hit. The Eclipse is entirely onto him. Oh, this is a disaster. They've lost 2 cores. Everyone just needs to run. Nick is going to try and stay close enough to maybe blink in there, but there's just no play to make.
No, they need the vision from the Crystal.
Oh, he's going to do it.
He's in.
Can he do anything? No. Pulverize is going to lock him down. Pingu's trying to channel out a freezing field here, and it's doing a lot of damage. Actually, it's not. I lied to you. It's doing a little bit of damage to, like, 4 different people.
Yeah, no, it just wasn't able. If he had the arena, maybe he's actually able to keep them around long enough for Pingu to get some kills there, but yeah, just isn't enough. Great forcing move, just really quick decision-making again from SG, and then just veering a little bit too close. Just not letting, I think, Nick baiting him. And there you go.
Nico, are you sure about this? Yeah, he's in trouble. There's going to be the root. Pulverize, Telekinesis forces him back, and he won't be punished, but he sure as hell can't find any kills there. And do they want to try this? I don't know if they have the firepower to really go onto Scourge at this point, and it looks like Oscar's going to decide against it.
Yeah, without Eclipse and without KXY, just feels a little bit too difficult. But that's where I do think that the Cut need to kind of wait now. They can't really smoke until it's daytime. They instead should just play around their high ground wards, finish up these BKBs, and then they can make a team fight happen. But that's where, especially for Scourge, he needs it, because he will just die in that exact same fashion, and then you don't get that super long team fight. You don't get that 5-6 stacks of goo in an AoE where the Ember Spirit just starts tearing through with the Slight. It just doesn't happen. And now they're getting on the aggressive again, and there is a 4-man unit down here finishing off this tier 2 bottom, but with the high ground ward, I don't know. Break on the outpost. They could find the supports, though.
They do see KXY first. They're going to try to hit him up with the spear, but now Oscar comes in. BKB active. Pulverize in. Onto Scourge, preventing him from doing his max damage. In fact, he actually has to kind of back off right now, which means the other 2 cores are just stuck in the middle of the fight. They're going to lose one as Nick goes down. Can Nico somehow jump away? Trying to get over to his Remnant. He does make it out, but right into Yuma, who's going to shut this down with the Eclipse, and whoever's still alive once again has to run. Kim, how far can he make it, though? That Bramble is slowing Yuma down. And actually, he doesn't have
Shadow Realm TP.
Doesn't have any mana, so yeah, so he should, yep, just go for the TP home. He makes it away. Scourge gets out as well, but You did have to sacrifice quite a bit there. I suppose it's a 3 for 3 overall, so the cut will get something for their trouble, but it's just not a definitive teamfight win for them.
Yeah, and you still lost quite a bit of gold on the cores, whereas really the one who got the most money there was actually Pingu on the CM, but that's where Yuma is happy because he got the kills. He got to kill the Ember Spirit. No streaks or anything, so no flip-flop, but I think, is that a full BKB? Yeah. Luna's getting more and more problematic for you, and that's also where KXY, I think, finally has his Bloodstone. Maybe just 100 or one more creep wave, and then that'll be it, and then I don't know, that previous fight was close just because KXY was losing all of his mana, but now with the Bloodstone, if you don't get him first, well, him and Oscar are kind of just carrying these team fights. That was also a fight that broke out where Yuma only was able to come in at the end there. If he was there just from the start, I don't want to imagine what that looked like for the cut, because again, BKBs need to be finished. They really do need to take a step back right now. If they do, they also get to kind of time out this Aegis from Yuma, but that's also where, with the Leshrac, you're just so efficient with your time. You just use this Aegis, you're the battering ram, you're in onto these tier 2s. So many trend creeps as well. So many useful ones too. And they will probably just be able to steamroll this one as well. Can't afford to use their glyph right now. They do, they just go up high ground, but here we go. They probably have to glyph the edict at least once, but I also kind of want to bait out and bide their time, but there's no reason for them to leave right now. They're just going to walk in with the next creep wave.
Spear back onto Yuma, though. Okay.
But Nick's dead.
Can they get his Aegis? Yes, they can, but yeah, Nick does have to sacrifice himself. There's a buyback available, though, on that Mars, so he can rejoin the fight. At the same time, KXY activates the Bloodstone, trying to heal up. There's that buyback coming into play, and now the Terrorize coming in. They kind of had BKBs going already, but KXY starting to drop row. Lina comes in. Nick has to sacrifice himself a second time, but he did find another trade. The Leshrac is gone. A lot of that pushing power, a lot of that threat goes with him. It looks like the cut will hold 2 deaths on the Mars ET, but well, tier 3 is safe. The racks are safe. Nico's actually kind of looking to push forward a bit. Don't know if this is the safest play in the world, but it just goes to show how confident they feel after holding that front line. Oh, they are going for it. Root onto 2. Yuma says, nope, I'm out of here. And that means LTH is just going to be left behind. That's a little bit sad, but he makes it out. Or he doesn't, excuse me. Luna makes it out. Oscar jumps away, and well, I don't know. If you're SG, it feels like you kind of blew it there, right? Aegis goes down for very little. You lose KXY. The tier 3 tower doesn't get taken out. Doesn't even really take half its HP and damage even. Missed opportunity.
They do get the glyph, though, and that does mean that once they do want to get onto the aggressive again, they can just go for this mid tower and then try to set themselves up for more plays. But that's also where KXY just not having his BKB. Also, I think wasting a good portion of his Bloodstone there, where they just simply frostbit him, and then he wasn't able to connect onto anything. He just ended up being, again, a little bit too thin. It's also where I think a plate mail would do him a lot of good, because there is just that much physical damage coming out from the cut. But we'll have to see, because BKBs are actually getting finished up here. Getting very close. Ember just finished his, getting ever so close on that Bristleback as well. And then you've got a timing where the Luna really is still magic damage right now. Right clicks, you know, they're not too shabby, but that's where there's no crit, there's no Daedalus, there's no Silver Edge in Q. So then you probably can just take that team fight. You also just get to straight up ignore KXY. It's where really SG do fall off quite a bit, but that's also where you cannot afford to stick around after the fact. You have to get a clean initiation, kill them in the arena, pop your BKBs, and then run. Because the longer those fights do go on, the more impact you're going to feel from SG's lineup. And they are grouped up like, yeah, they want to smoke here. And they're going up the high ground. See how they break, though. Oscar doesn't have a blink, so he does have to just go in and... Okay.
They want Scourge. They'll hit him with the Pulverize, but over to the east, the Terrorize went down onto KXY, so he's going to be very late to join this fight. And now, Nick comes in. There's going to be the arena, but the Eclipse will be thrown out in exchange. So Nick is dead. Scourge, though, still fighting. Nico in with his own BKB active. They are doing their best to try and get some damage in here, but they're slowly but surely getting pushed back. Nico has to jump away to the Remnant to avoid that damage, but that means Scourge, all alone, getting hit up, getting dropped down. They will lose him. And they just don't have enough. You try and toggle the damage in between Scourge and Nico, but Nico's not tanky enough to do that for long, and the second he had to back out, all that firepower converges on the Bristle.
Yeah, it's where Nick having to buy back from before really hurts. And you just simply pop your BKB if you're Yuma. Even though you're in the arena, all of your damage still goes through. And again, the cut can't stick around after the fact. As soon as those BKBs are gone, they have to escape. And that's why Nico's able to get out, but the Scourge isn't. It's just one of those games. And now once those timers start to get lower and lower, that was your 9-second BKB fight that you still couldn't win. It does not get easier from here. It's where you do need to find a way to just do more damage. I don't know if it's going to be a Basher or an AC on the Bristleback, but any item next is going to have to kind of win the game for you. Otherwise, you're just going to start to fall so heavily behind as the Spidey senses tingle for KXY and he gets out of bottom. There was a pretty big gank trying to set up on him, but that's also where Rosh is going to become the next focus. 35 seconds, another relatively quick Rosh timer that again, will probably favor SG, just the team ahead. It's where you might not be able to finish off a lot of these items, especially that BKB on Nick in time.
Now this play from Oscar. This has been an interesting one. Want to ask your opinion on it, just sort of like or not like, because it seems like the player base of Primal is still divided on this Ag. Some players love it, other players will just absolutely, abjectly refuse to pick it up. So what do you think? Because it is some area damage, right?
And break for the Bristleback, which is probably the reason that he goes for it here. And I do like it. I think it is I don't know if it's second item worthy, which I think is the issue that a lot of players have, but I do think that it has its place in every Primal build. I do think maybe the Kaya Sange is something that I personally would prefer just slightly more with how much damage you can do and how limited your mana pool is, but that's where the Ags, especially in this upcoming team fight, is going to be very important. However, though, Rosh is alive. They're hitting it. You have a Crystallis now. This is going to die so quickly. And the Cut are not batting an eye. They just weren't able to ever stick their heads out in that top area of the map. They were instead looking for a pick bottom, a pick that did not materialize. So free Aegis, early Rosh, get that quickly. They TP in bottom to kill the rats, and they're looking for the rats. But even a BKB force here would be massive. But it looks like they will be able to slink into the trees and escape. But now that the rats are quelled, time to get onto a lane.
Everyone just had to use their TP, so you know they're not going anywhere, although Nico is still dancing around out here. And they catch him.
So close, actually. Ooh.
LTH. If he had an Aether maybe instead of the Blink, who knows, but... Although, if he didn't have the Blink, he wouldn't have been in position to drop the word in the first place, so... You know, it is what it is. They can't quite catch him, but even Nico now has to fall back, and... Did he actually... There we go. Yeah, Yuma had the shard in his backpack for a while. He had to find the time to actually consume it, but you have the Lucent Beam upgrade here.
Yep, Lucent Beam upgrade. You just picked up an Enchanted Quiver as well. The kind of age-old, really broken combo on this hero whenever you have the old Ag Shard, but now you kind of have the old Ag Shard, and now backdoor gone, pushing onto the tier 2. Will die so quickly. Again, they can't pop Glyph here because they need to save it for their tier 3 towers. As bottom lane, some bullying going on, but ends up dying down and back to the objectives. Tier 3 under threat. There's no lifesteal on Yuma, so he actually does need to be careful. Can't take too much casual damage, but there's the break, and
that's a problem. No. There's the Eclipse. Someone has to help, but no one's in there in time. Little Nick, he tried, but he popped his own BKB into the arena, so he wasn't actually absorbing any of that damage, and this is starting to get a little bit awkward. They took one kill onto LTH, but he had to go all the way into the back line for that, and it doesn't really help them in terms of the immediate base defense as Pingu's going to buy back. Nick tries for the spear. Onto a BKB target, though, so he immediately gets pulverized and taken down, and they're right back onto the tier 3. The Cut, what do they have? What can they try? I mean, Nico can do some sleight of fish shenanigans, I guess, but that's not enough to take the creep wave away, ET, so SG keep pushing.
Yeah, it's where if you had maybe the Ags, you would be able to just dive past and go in instead, but yeah, they just might get claimed here, but aside from that, that's your Glyph, and that's maybe your time to back out here. He will get stuck, and there is a Frostbite there. Needs to get Force Staffed in a sec, but there's also Mech, there's also Wraith Pact, and they gotta be careful, because right now, Scourge is about to respawn. SG might just decide to leave them in the dust here, and Oscar? Okay.
What the heck?
Dispels himself. Yeah, it looked really awkward with the the onslaught getting canceled, but has the 15 talent, so instead they'll retreat to the high ground. But BKBs are back in like 20 seconds here, so SG don't need to leave, and the Cut also can't really go for a smoke. If they do, it needs to be within this 10-second timing. Otherwise, any initiation could just blow up in their face again.
I don't think they've got really the time to get over there as quickly as they need to, but they are going to try and smoke, so here it comes. 4-man smoke with Scourge sort of out in front. We're just going to act as the bait in this scenario, although if you're SG, I don't know if you fall for that bait, right? Why would Scourge be this far out of his base if he didn't have backup? So maybe not the right hero to lead that charge, but at this point, they're still just hoping they run into somebody, but Pingu's going to pop. They do manage to get a blink in. That's going to be the route onto Primal Beast, but Oscar, hey, he's got a BKB. He's just going to TP himself out of here. But they did manage to catch Prada. That'll be a less valuable kill, but it should be a kill for them as LTH.
Oh.
Okay. Stolen Arena. Getting a little bit funky there, and he does die for that arena play, so I don't really know what that was, actually. I mean, he throws the arena down, but KXY and Oscar had already fallen back. Luna's not even in the lane, so this felt a little bit strange. Okay, KXY is going to force a fight, pushing up onto Pingu. Here comes Oscar in with the onslaught. They're able to take Pingu down. They get Nick as well. Scourge has to pop his BKB, but his teammates are still falling all around him as Yuma picks up 2. And the cut,
yeah.
It's too far.
Yeah, even though they feel like that's a mistake, KXY didn't even feel like he needed to pop his BKB, because he really didn't. Nobody could stand up to him there. And with the angle that Yuma was able to find, just taking off Nick first, no BKB coming out from the Mars, just too much damage. Finished up a full Scotty as well, which is also very problematic, but Yuma was also just pushing in every single creep wave. So now, onto the tier 3 bottom, there's still no glyph, there's no support either. You can't buy back. There's no buybacks available except for on the Ember Spirit, so this will just probably be the bottom lane. Not really anything you can do here. It will respawn in about 4 seconds, but all of SG's lineup is already back up as well. Don't have that many creeps on the Chen, but doesn't really matter because that's a freebie. And now they get to set up for the final lane if they want to. Get to pick up maybe this Arcane Rune on the way out as well, and then the problems are still there that the cut can only really solve from getting a perfect team fight initiation from Nick, and then probably just the follow-up Terrorize, and then hoping that that's enough damage to kill either the Leshrac or the Luna.
And Nick goes, or excuse me, not Nick, Nico goes for a Blink Dagger here, which will give him quite a bit of initiation. And speaking of initiation, they are into KXY, but there's the BKB, and he's straight up out of there. So not really going to be able to make any play happen on that front, but I don't know. I mean, this Blink, it's nice for Nico, but it feels like at this point, even something maybe like a Linken's or a Lotus might work a little bit better in terms of trying to keep him alive as they try to go on Oscar, but there's going to be the Dispel. Can't dispel that, though. Stunned up by the Spear. Terrorize comes through. And they will be able to find the pick. Pingu, unfortunately, is kind of the one to yoink it away from his teammates there, but a kill's a kill, and they buy some time.
Yeah, got a bit greedy. For sure. Didn't just do the BKB TP out that his teammate had also committed, so not like they were going to immediately fight, but the cut are just running from lane to lane, trying to find punishes on their vision here, and they are all scouted out. Pretty much the entire SG lineup has been seen, but it's daytime. Can they close the gap here before they react? I don't think so. And yeah, what a blink from LTH.
Boy.
Yeah, it's daytime. You're just faster to react. It's just how the map works, and yeah, blows Arena.
You missed walking into a Sentry, though, but it
Oh.
might not matter. He's going to pop the Eclipse. Nick has to activate his BKB, but the physical damage, it's still just hitting him up. There's that Scotty coming into play. Scourge now, his own BKB is in play, but again, he's just getting slowed up. He can't move. He can't heal. He's got to fall back. The Hand of God keeps KXY alive for a few seconds longer. They do eventually finish him off, but what's the cost going to be? Can Nico somehow get away? It looks like he can. That Blink Dagger does eventually come in handy. The problem is Scourge is the primary target. They just kept chasing him. And Yuma finds it. Ultra kill. Nico now, it's nice that he lives, but that's also entirely irrelevant. If he can't now get into the base and he can't TP for 10, they're just going to try to end it right now. Not even bothering with the Mega ZT. They want to win the game.
And Glyph is back up, so maybe he's a little bit more to play with, but he's going to Manta that, then he's going to keep the pressure on, and all they have Glyph left for is the Ancient, but if they don't pop it, they need to buy time, and you have to look at Nick. The Mars has to find something here. They could also just decide to refocus if they get scared, but Oscar still has BKB, pops it. He's going to just try to make space now because Yuma's just looking to end the game.
And Nico got caught on the back line. There's the telekinesis into the Stolen Spear. He's dead. Nick now buys back, but with the Ember gone, I'm not really sure if they can do this. It's Nick and the two supports to pull off a miracle, but the Ancient is falling. About 1,000 health remaining, 700, down to 500, and there's your GG. They realize we are out of time, and ET, they are now out of opportunities. SG 2-0 them, and unfortunately for the cut, they are now at the mercy of whatever tiebreaker scenarios we get.
Yeah, and it's sad again not having B-God in the lobby in the server to maybe come up against a big dog like SG, but SG just also had their number. They had so many good options. They played their draft well. I think again, maybe you have that one opportunity from the cut where you just draft the Lina just a hair before the Bristleback and then hope that that's going to be enough, but it's also just not the way that the cut like to play. They want Nico to be on his Embers and his Pangos, his initiating, playmaker style mid laners. So maybe there's a little bit of uncomfortableness there for him playing Lina and just being more of a farmer for the team. But in doing so, I think you lose one of the best answers versus Leshrac. And let's say they pick Luna in the exact same situation, you also lose one of the best tiers versus her as well. But I don't know. Aside from that, I think SG were just simply the better team today coming into the lobby, and they get a pretty decisive victory and actually surge to first place. They are now one win ahead of Ravens, and of course, Ravens have one more series to play, so maybe Ravens end up being, still the best team at the end of the day, but SG put themselves in a pretty great spot at the end of our group stage here.
Checking in here on our cross table. Ravens own the tiebreaker against SG. So for SG to hold this top spot, they would need Ravens to actually get 2-0'd, which no one's been able to do that so far. So they have first place for now. They are very unlikely to hold it, but still. They got up to 12 wins, and ET, this is 11 straight victories for this SG lineup. I know the narrative that we were focusing on was the cut trying to make upper bracket because that was something a little bit more in flux for this team, which fortunately they now don't reach, but 11 straight wins for SG. I mean, this is just absolutely insane how well they've been playing, and you only hope now that with the group stage over, they don't suffer any sort of hangover, that they take this momentum and continue to play at this level going into playoffs.
Yeah, and if you're the cut, well, you're kicking yourselves for getting 2-0'd by Felt, because those were your two wins probably here, at least with how these other teams have stacked up. And again, still scratching our heads at what happened in that series. But no, SG, very good win for them. Unfortunate for the cut. Of course, they have the advantage at the least over 5-rat 4-staff to come those tiebreakers. So again, this is where everything becomes a what-if situation, and we do have to just wait for the rest of the bracket to be filled out. But yeah, not the end of the world for them, of course. No elimination, but maybe not the position they were hoping for.
They have to sit back and wait and see what sort of unfolds, but their own sense of agency has now been taken away. So unfortunate for the cut, but they're still holding on here. They're not nearly in as rough a position as the team that we're about to take a look at here, ET, because we are moving on into that next best of two. It's Team DogChamp going up against 5-Man Midas, and kind of interesting situations. DogChamp still have a shot at upper bracket. They've got to basically win out the rest of the way through, but they would then trigger tiebreakers for themselves. Meanwhile, for 5-Man Midas, still looking for their first win with 2 days remaining in the group stage. It's rough for them, but even with that being said, they're not out of the running. They could still avoid elimination, so they have a hell of a lot to play for in that upcoming best of two.
Yeah, and then, as we've been hyping up every single day, Felt versus 5-Man Midas. Will it be close? Will it be mathematically possible for them to win? Well, they've got to win what feels like their next 4 games today, but I don't know. We'll see, but it's definitely going to be a difficult path forward for them. But I think this is a matchup that they can maybe at least get a game off of DogChamp with how kind of inconsistent they've been. But again, we'll have to see because they haven't proven anything to us just yet here.
Well, we're going to be moving into that series in just a little bit here. So we'll be stepping away, but when we return, it is going to be game 1 between DogChamp and 5-Man Midas. So stick around. We shall see if they can get that elusive first win.
No, it's always good. You get the damage over time and a little bit of the maledict. It's I mean, just using that on the Rubik would kill him with Wyvern as well. Voicers will also take a ton of damage. One thing I find interesting is that Witch Doctor, he got, I think, a big radius buff to the healing aura, and now it also damages people inside it. So I keep thinking, will we ever see a Witch Doctor sort of max healing. Damn, I forgot. Food restoration, I think it's called. Max healing food restoration. Just sort of stand in the middle of the fight, something like a CM ulti, because it's 40 damage and 40 heal. It's pretty good. It's pretty good, especially if you get a holy locket on top.
Yeah, it's not bad. And then as well, there's a lot of damage you can do when you throw out that death wall. As something that you've got to be careful with the Rubik around you.
It's insane. That's what's like. It's something like 360 DPS at level 1. It's absolutely incredible damage. But Little Gun, they finish up with they take the mid Void Spirit against the Puck. Should be okay for the Void Spirit. I mean, Puck will probably be harassing him a little bit with the Illusion Orb. Void Spirit, though, you also have the Resonant Pulse. You harass him a little bit. So I don't think either one has a great kill potential. They also have very similar item builds. Both of them rush Witchblade. First item. Hokori, they're getting rid of carries they don't want to go up against. They get rid of the Medusa. Who else could they go for? Little Gun. I kind of like the idea of them going for something like a Lifestealer. Lone Druid wouldn't be so bad as well. We do know that something 4-3 does play. Nature's Puppet, Lone Druid, Juggernaut, Sniper, Monkey King. Monkey King would also be pretty damn good with the Mars Arena.
Yeah, I was going to ask, with you mentioning the Sniper, is that something, because you do have a decent front line with the Mars and the Void Spirit that would be disruptive on that front line. Would you want something then that, or is that too risky? Because the Wraith King probably wants to go for a Blink Dagger. The Puck's going to be able to get in with the Orb, but Blink Dagger probably of her own. Marsty with the rebound then on top of the Sniper. Or do you think that Little Gun just caused enough chaos that Sniper would be able to get away with sitting on the back lines and just taking shots?
I think it's a risk. You know what I mean? It's like if you pick it and you start snowballing, it's unstoppable. You know, like they these guys will have a hard time getting Blink Daggers on top of him. But if you pick it and you lose the lanes, suddenly it just looks like the worst pick. Like, my God, they just jump on him and kill him. So I think it's a risk, and I would imagine you want to go something a bit safer. Like I said, like they could just be like, nah, let's go for it. Let's just go for it, and we can buy with that match. You want to go for something like the Juggernaut, the LD, or even the Monkey King, maybe something like that. Would they go with the Beastmaster last pick for Hokori? So solid pushing lineup, decent control from their heroes. Overall, just a nice balanced draft. I like what Hokori has. They're not going for the Marcy core, though. It does look like it's going to be the Marcy 4 instead, and Vitaly's going to take the Beastmaster. So, not a big fan of support Marcy, but it's all right. It's not like the worst thing in the world. It's not like Enchantress.
Yeah, fair enough. But Little Gun.
Oh!
What?
Oh, dude, whoa, huh? I just made all the sound effects I could make with my mouth. Okay, Meepo. I did. That's insane. That is very much. That's an interesting pick.
Just a quick heads up to everyone watching. I haven't seen a Meepo, let alone cast a Meepo, in about 3 years. So I have literally no idea. Like I play at the low bracket. No one knows what micro is in Archon. I have no idea what this hero does anymore, how you build it. Yeah, this is going to be something new to me. So, Tomo, take it away with the Meepo.
Well, I haven't seen a Meepo in like 3 years. So, no, I mean, it's a tempo-based hero. You often see them go for like heavy stats. So the Wraith Band build isn't uncommon. You go with the Blink Dagger, jump on people. I don't know exactly how you go with the Aghanim Scepter upgrades, like the Shard as well as the Scepter, what people do. I think you get like a dig ability and something else. Again, we don't see this hero very often, like you said, but I imagine, get some stats, get a Blink Dagger, jump on people and kill them. I don't know if this is the kind of Meepo. I don't feel like this is a Meepo game, if that makes sense. You are up against, Roar from Beastmaster, 2 lives on Wraith King, so even if you burst him down, he gets back up. Witch Doctor, if you can get the bounce on here, like there's a stun on basically every hero on Hokori's side, so it is weird to see the Meepo pick. I don't love it, but 4-2-3 has always been very impressive with his hero pool and the way he plays. So I'm on Hokori's side. I feel like this Meepo. It's not. Hey, come on! I gotta go. I'm gonna go with Hokori. I don't believe in this Meepo.
It's just that 4-2-3 is great on those kind of hyper mobile heroes, but I'm gonna go with Hokori.
Yeah, he's great. But I'm gonna go with the other side. He's good. I don't feel like this is the game for it.
Okay.
Oh God, who brings Meepo? What the hell?
I mean, like I say, Little Gun, they don't have any risk. You know, they're not fighting for that upper bracket, so they can have fun with it. And apparently, according to Sheepstick, Meepo is a fun hero. So
I mean, he is. Wait, is Sheepstick here? Where is she?
no,
No.
she
Oh,
she just likes Meepo. She's a big Meepo enthusiast.
Okay, all right. So yeah, I'm looking at it. Yeah, it's just the same old Meepo. You know, Earthbind, bunch of people poof in. Ransack used to slow, but now it's heals you instead with you and the other Meepos. And the Divide stands the same as always. So yeah, I don't get what this Meepo is gonna do. It's crazy. It's gonna be crazy to watch, though. I'm excited that we get it. You know, like I'm glad that we talked about. We said Little Gun, they're gonna be playing whatever they want. You know, this is doesn't matter what they pick. Their lower bracket confirmed. Might as well have fun with it. So I'm glad they go for the Meepo. I'm glad they bring up something crazy.
I feel fine. Don't know what everyone's worried about.
Yeah, I don't know, like, because I literally don't know where this hero sits in the power rankings. So
Power level, right? Like if he has,
it's
yeah.
like, is
Does
this
he
hero
match
gonna
a Wraith King with same farm? Does he not? It's hard to tell.
An analog. I mean, it's okay. So there's going to be some warding down in the river. Both sides as well. This is a really nice one. It's just out of range as well. The other side, the Observer Ward's come through from Hakori on the other side of the river. So it is going to be a good setup. You can see that the art grouping up around here now as well on the side of Hakori. Maybe looking for someone to come up onto this high ground. Maybe 4-2-3 to come up onto this high ground. To maybe look for a wraparound into the river for this bounty room.
What? We'll see if Little Gun obliges them and decides to go for use someone there, but probably not. I wonder how the laning stage is going to go for Meepo. His stats is okay, so but is it enough to survive the Marcy as well as the Beastmaster? It could be a bit tough for him.
Well, Kishka's going to try and do some dewarding here now as well. Gardic just lets it go down because he is going to be walking up right into Lumia. There's with the Maledict coming out now as well. Where's that Wraith Fire Blast? A lot of damage coming out onto the Rubik. Kishka going to get himself away from this one. Theo's even going to be able to come in with a rebound as well. Kishka should go down and Gardic will pull out the first blood with the Maledict at level 1. So maybe something a little bit different where you usually see the cask. But a really good setup. The burst damage came through from that Wraith Fire Blast, the rebound there as well. And it was just enough to get the pick onto Gardic.
But they were able to get 3 bounty runes on Little Gun's side, so they're not too annoyed by that.
Yeah.
And yeah, we are seeing a little bit more of the Maledict first point because it does have decent damage over time. And the percentage, I think the percentage has been the same actually, but the damage over time has been increasing, a lot. And then you also have it with the Wraith Fire Blast, so it's pretty solid. Just now that they decided not to use it, and my God, Kishka has just beaten Gardic with an inch of his life.
I'm just watching this top lane as well because Vitaly, he's opted for the axes. So maybe looking, Meepo's got the first level into the ransack, but when the levels, I guess, into poof start coming out, he can start to clean up the balls as they get spawned. Yeah, bottom lane, Gardic could be taking a lot of damage here now as well. Kishka, he's already used that Fade Bolt, but he's just going to be able to sit and right-click down on Gardic. And Gardic, with that level 1 Maledict, this is kind of the issue now as well. You don't have that cast to try and disrupt. The Maledict does come through, but Kishka's just going to be far enough away that he's going to be able to walk himself away. The Fade Bolt, one more right-click, and Kishka gets his revenge.
I mean, one thing we haven't sort of discussed that Rubik's got 5 armor, and he reduces damage by 14% when he hits you with a Fade Bolt. Whereas Witch Doctor, he does have the same amount of damage, but he's only got 2 armor, and damage reduced by 14, so he just does not trade. Meanwhile, Ace loses his life in the top lane. So Hakori, that's not too bad. It's not too bad. That's really 1-for-1 across the map.
Yeah.
And check it out, Gardic he went for it. He went for Root of Restoration level 2. No points in the Paralyzing Cask. Interesting that he's gonna go for. I hope he maxes it out. I really hope he maxes it out. I don't know if it's good or if it's viable or not, but I hope he does it so we find out. It's like, could you experiment for me? Could you do it for me, Gardic? Could you go max restoration?
Yeah, Gardic, your upper bracket playoffs is on the line here, but just try something experimental because Otomo needs to know what it's like.
I would like to know. I would. Why? Is that bad? He's
Top
just
lane,
has it
the
all.
Nets comes out again, 4-2-3. Again, he's only going to be level 2, but he's going to be able to get the kill onto Vitaly now as well. But the dispose, Ace, can he get himself away? Theo's going to be able to get a revenge kill, and 4-2-3. Again, he's got the nets, but no poof, so he wasn't able to pull up with a little bit more damage onto that. Did still get the kill on Vitaly, but Theo, he's looking pretty healthy here in this lane.
I just put my mouse over Earthbind for Meepo, and at max level it has 1,250 range. That is kind of bonkers.
10-second cooldown as well.
And of course you can have like what three or four Meepos running around. So basically it should have almost permanent uptime if you can get it.
Yeah, the dispose onto 4-2-3 drag back underneath the tier 1 tower though, so he is going to have that extra little tower protection. Yeah, 4-2-3, he's going to be fine. He's going to go for the 1-1-1 build as well, as just so I guess we can lock down, the poof is going to be extra damage, like I say. So if the balls do come out, Vitaly, he's actually going to go for level 2. So the second point into the Inner Beast now as well, 4-2-3, taking some punishment from Theo. But he will be able to back himself away. Gets a tango off the Ace now as well.
Yeah, by the way, Earthbind also has a level 20 talent that reduces the cooldown by 3. So 7 seconds. So you could have permanent uptime on this, like, because it takes like, what, 8 seconds? And you just, by that time, one guy is always going to have it ready. That's insane. Top lane, Ace. Yeah, he's been taking some damage here. Is he going to lose his life?
Oh, the nets come out. Ace is going to be able to get himself away. The poof going to be used here, but the axes fly through, and Winter Wyvern surviving on 40 health. Theo not going to be able to get in range.
Love the whatever cosmetic he's got because the nets look really good. And by the way, another cool thing is at level 25 you have the Pack Rat talent for Meepo. You can put any item you want in the neutral item slot.
Huh.
So Divine Rapier.
I don't think it works like that. But Theo is going to be netted now as well as the second Meepo comes out. Where are the proofs? The nets are going to be going with this Earth Grab. And now, 4-2-3. It's only going to be the one level into that on the Earthbind, but it was enough to keep Theo locked down. Yeah, I don't actually know. Alright, if you... again, okay, bottom lane, Gardic. He's going to try and drop that cast now as well. The drag back, the Malefice does come through the Malefice, onto 11. 11 should be able to get himself away from danger. But is he going to be able to survive through with the Tango? It should be enough to survive through this Maledict.
Yeah, it's good. He's also got the Tower Regen, he's got a Bracer, he's going to be healthy. And it's only level 1 Maledict as well. He went for the 1-1-1 build on the Witch Doctor, which makes sense. He's going to have mana issues though. I think he's had this Voodoo Restoration on basically the entire time I've been looking. Every time I look bottom lane, he's got a top lane, Vitaly, he's low health.
Yeah, he's going to be chased down once again, and the right clicks come through for 4-2-3. Earthbinds were on cooldown, but he's just enough move speed there to chase down with the brown boots to carry on just right-clicking down the Beastmaster, and Beastmaster gets punished. Mid lane, Sanctity, Orb's going to be thrown out by Analog. He doesn't need to jaunt to it, though. Sanctity tries to drop that Remnant. He's going to be able to get it through the phase shift now as well. One more right-click. The Fairy Fire, it keeps Analog alive. Sanctity is going to be taking a couple of tower shots there, but Analog so close, and one right-click might have been enough for the kill there, but for the Fairy Fire to save him.
And it's not, I mean, look at the denies. 30, 11 denies, only 19 and 2 for Analog. Analog, he's being schooled. I mean, maybe is Puck just a weak laner today? It seems like everyone's beating Puck right now. First by the Quap, and now in this game by the Void Spirit. Well, and no bottle, though.
The phase shift is an easy setup there, so if you can get him close, the phase shift's an easy setup for the Remnant. Ace trying to do what he can, the Arctic Burn. Theo, though, is going to be chased down 4-2-3. He can be everywhere at once. Earthbinds do come out. The Poofs now as well, so Theo's going to be punished by this. And even the Courier, it's 1 health.
That is a tanky Courier. The Pikachu over there. I thought that thing was dead, but I like what Ace went. He's like, oh, you're just going to bring it? Courier first? Sure, more gold for me. I don't mind. And if you were looking for a Meepo to pop off, he's popping off. 2-0 and 2 in 6 minutes. He is having a very fun game for himself. I wonder if there's one game where you want to go drums on the Beastmaster, it's this game. Like the drums look really good in this game. We're up against so much like sort of AOE. You want to do AOE damage. I think I did a test, and the drums, I think they do 1,650 damage over 6 seconds. It's kind of insane.
There's going to be the dive. They're going to be able to pick up 11 now as well. 3 heroes. Theo, he just can't sit in his top lane, so he's going to be starting moving around at level 4. Has 1 point into dispose, 1 into the sidekick, and 2 into the rebound, which does make him a good roaming hero here. And Theo, yeah, just trying to do the best he can with this build, with the Meepo doing pretty good on this top lane.
Yeah, at this point they're probably like, no, there's no point in putting Theo top lane. He's just gonna honestly just going to keep dying over and over again. So might as well punish the Mars if you can. So 11, he's going to TP bomb. They might just go straight up for another kill if he pushes the lane just a little bit too far.
Yeah.
He is moving. Kishka's here as well, so he has some protection. And Sanctity, he might be roaming bottom as well. So if they want to make move on Hokori, they want to get these kills pretty fast.
I mean, we'll see. Sanctity is going to be going back to the lane. Analog, he sees him. Does he want to try and make a dive happen? He's just going to go with the Resonant Pulse, do a little bit of damage. The drag back. Yeah, there's really going to be, yeah, like I say, the Remnant from the phase shift. Just a really good setup there, and Analog couldn't get out of the way in time.
Ooh, dude, Analog is being really pressured. He wants to go for that River Room, but he just can't because Ace is right there. And Ace can do this because 43, he's just having a final time by himself. He doesn't literally in his zone. He's got the double Wraith Band, the Bracer, by the way. He's going to go for the double Dragon Lance after, so just as much stats as possible. So very similar to the build we used to see years ago. You know, on mid lane.
Dream Coil is going to be used now as well. It's going to be a lot of damage onto the Rubik. Theo, can he do anything about this? The Dispose comes out. Cast going to bounce around now as well, but there is going to be a Dissimulate. And it looks like they're going to be able to take down Theo with that Fade Bolt to bounce around. Analog, but could be chased by Ace. Ace is only level 4, so no Winter's Curse to come out there to follow up from that jaunt to the orb.
It's going to be the Max Maledict build for Gardic. Ah, lame! Actually, Voodoo Restoration does deserve 2 points because the heal and damage double at level 2.
Yeah.
So you want to try to get that as early as you can. Same thing with the Paralyzing Cast. Also, doubles in terms of bouncing. So imagine we might see something like a 2-2-4 build soon. Oh, mid lane.
The shards come out. Analog is going to take a little bit of damage from that, but Sanctity didn't want to try and drop that Remnant. Theo, though, going to be chasing around. Might see Ace, will see Ace. Both of them level 5. What can Theo do to try and disrupt this? It looks like he's just going to have to back himself away.
In terms of net worth, no one's really far behind except Analog. He's the only one who's really suffering. You look at the other roles, they're relatively similar. Beastmaster is a bit ahead of 11. Lumiere, he's doing a really good job actually. Same thing with 423, but it's only the Puck who's suffering right now. Analog's trying to find a kill in the bottom lane. The scan moves, they do know 11's here. Analog, he's interesting. The scan turned red. I saw it.
Yeah.
But
didn't commit. I mean, maybe it just forces 11 back to buy a little space.
Top lane. This could be a big fight here. Everyone's here from Little Gun except 11.
Do they want to try and move in onto this as well? Vitaly's just hanging himself back. Does have that roar available. They might see Theo. Theo just takes out that double damage rune now as well. Just making sure that nobody on the side of Little Gun can pick it up.
All right. So now I'm wondering, is there a team on the timer? And I guess Little Gun is a little bit, Wraith King late game is pretty strong. Beastmaster could scale now that he has this Aghanim Scepter. He's not going for it, of course. He's going to go for Helm Overload first, but it does feel like it gives him a lot of late game presence that he could benefit from.
Mid lane as well, they made a little bit of an attempt on Sanctity, but Sanctity was easily, the rebound was coming in. He gets out with the Dissimulate, quick fingers on that, and gets himself away. There was no Dream Call used, there was no Dispose used on that as well. Marcy will be running out this double damage rune now. But again, it is a position for Marcy, so there wasn't a massive expectation for impact with it double damage rune picked up.
And with the level 1 sidekick as well, he's like, that's alright guys. I'll hit him with 20 extra damage. Like, woo, 20 you say. Where's Meepo? First Dragon Lance finished. Second Dragon Lance being worked on. Then it's going to be the Blink Dagger. Look at the stack, by the way. Meepo's going for... Is he going to be able to go for it? Kishka does the Fate Ball just to reduce the damage. Even though the damage of the Fate Ball reduces per bounce, the damage reduction on the enemies stays the same. So it makes it pretty useful to have in this situation. And that's still a big stack. That's a very big stack, actually.
Yeah, gotta be careful. The next proof comes out. Okay, he does clean up most of them. And
top lane.
Ransack, top. Oh, the arena's going to be used now as well. The roar comes out. 11 is going to be taking the damage. The full damage of the Death Ward comes through now as well. With the jump into the backline, Sanctity's going to be able to get the kill to Gardic. Can they go even further? There's going to be the drag back here. Kishka. Dispose gets used, but Theo, is it going to be enough to get the kill? Because the orb was stolen and now Sanctity can come in and Theo going to be taking down Little Gun. Get a good return on the initial gank coming through there from Hokori.
Alright. So, not too bad for Little Guy. The whole time that was happening, though, 43 was farming. What's Lumiere got? Lumiere, he's going to go for the Radiance, by the way. He's got the armlet. He's going to go for the Radiance after. Interesting item. I feel like this is a little bit, I'm not going to say outdated, but it's not something we see. Generally, we don't see Wraith King much anyway, right? But when we do see him, it tends to be like the Deso, the Armlet, more focusing on the single target damage. But in this game, the missed chance is pretty good against the Meepo. Meepo is not going to go for MKB, and does really reduce the effectiveness of the Ransack.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, and the AoE damage is going to be nice when you're being swarmed by Meepos as well, just being able to burn them off. But yeah, it is going to be a little ways away here. Lumia getting towards that. He's, what, about 1,600, 1,500 gold from getting the Sacred Relic out, so that's going to be nice just to impact his farming speed, just impact that right-click damage that comes out. But
yeah, it also really helps with the farming, right? You can just go farm so much faster as well. So all good. Lumia, he is joining the team for this mid push. He needs to be careful though. Everyone's showing up here for Little Gun.
Yeah, he's going to get dragged back. He is level 10, so he does have at least 1 point here in the reincarnation. Telekinesis, so it might be popped right about now. The arena, is it going to be able to take him down? Lumia, he's trying to armlet toggle his way through this. He's keeping himself alive for as long as possible. Whereas the rest of the team rotating in. Do they have the roar? Do they want to throw it out now as well? It's going to be onto one of the Meepos with that Dream Call now as well. But they get another Earthbind onto him, and Lumia is taking so much damage. He's going to be popped. 4-2-3 gets a kill. Vitaly now as well. The Earthbind, it locks down onto the Beastmaster. They're going to carry on chasing onto this. The Poofs comes through to assimilate the damage, and Sanctity, they get a clean-up killing spree here for Sanctity.
That was interesting, going for that wait, Lumia was there, but Gardic and Theo were not, by the way.
Oh, no.
Very odd to risk your carry in that situation. And like you bring all the cores from Hokori showed up, but not the supports didn't, whereas everyone from Little Gun was there. That was very questionable, honestly. I'm surprised they decided to go, but they don't have Radiance on Lumia. That really sets him back. Lost like 200 gold from that, the farming time. And this is an important match for Hokori. They have not secured upper bracket yet. If they lose this match, like this series 0-2, and Execration wins tomorrow 0-2-0, they go lower bracket, so they can't really afford to make too many mistakes.
No, and Theo might be the next one to go down as well. 4-2-3 is close. Theo, can he get himself away from this? He's going to be able to get the rebound off the chase into the trees, though. Has that TP scroll. Sees the Serenity to come down, but the Earthbind is a little bit away. They still have the telekinesis because they have the vision. Sanctity jumps in, and they are going to be able to clean up that kill.
Primal Roar, by the way, is still on the Rubik, so next fight is still going to have this great ability to use. And where is 4-3 on? I believe it's on the way, the Blink Dagger. And after that, he's going to go for the Scotty and the Aghanim. So like I said, heavy.
For the Winter's Curse bait, Cask on the bottom lane though is going to be thrown out. Do they want to try and go into Analog? Analog can get himself away from this one. Orb comes through. Sanctity might be able to chase, but it doesn't actually jump. Comes back, the Dream Call, but Kishka gets the kill. Did he? What did he steal? He had the Roar, but it was on cooldown.
Yeah, doesn't want to steal anything else. Just keep the Roar. Super good ability. Why replace it? You could get at least one, maybe even two uses out of it. I think probably just one, actually. It's 100-second cooldown. Okay. Mid lane, Lumiere wants to push mid, but decides he's not going for it. Still wants to get that Sacred Relic. So, man, that one death really delayed him.
Yeah, he's only just going to be able to pick up. In fact, he might not be able to. Lumia, they get the jump in, the reincarnation, it's still on cooldown, the roar from the Rubik. They're going to be able to get another kill, and Lumia's just going to go down. Can't even get off that Wraith Fire Blast, and that's going to set him back even further. He lost about 200 gold, and the farm speed, he's going to be so sad from that gank rotation. And it might not be over yet. 4-2-3 might be able to find Vitaly. There's going to be the TPs in. He even jumps to the backline now as well. The Roar comes through, but the Earthbind, there's going to be a lot of damage coming through onto this 4-2-3. But they still get the call. They're going to be able to get the pick onto Gardic now as well. They're going to Theo, and Theo going to be taking so much punishment. Analog at least gets the kill through the Orb, as well as that Wayne and Rift gets the kill, and Kishka might be the second victim. So they do turn that one around. They take down the Meepo. There's going to be a Dream Call use Void Spirit. Can he get himself away from this one? Just going to use that Astral Step. Get himself out of danger. Even gets himself an Arcane Rune for his bottle. But where are they going to go? The Silence comes out into the Winter Wyvern. The Winter Wyvern has that curse. There's going to be the drag back, but he gets taken down before he can turn around for the Winter's Curse. And Analog will claim another kill. Or his first kill of the game. Yeah.
Very big victory for Hokori. Just losing a couple of supports, but getting the Meepo, the most important kill in the game, as well as the other supports. Little Gun, they did. 11 was pushing bottom. He got the tier 1 bottom, but you really wouldn't want to have your, if you're going to take a fight like that, you really want your Mars there, especially a Mars with a Blink Dagger, who's, going to be able to land those big ultimates. And Vitaly, now the Overlord finished, going to go for the Blink Dagger, followed by the Shard, just to give you an extra way of holding people down. And then maybe the Aghanim Scepter? Hey!
Maybe. Maybe the Shard.
Well, actually, the thing is, you don't want to get Wraith back because you already have Helm Overlord. It's a good item, but not not for the Beastmaster. Maybe Boots at some point. Like I look at him walking, I'm like, dude, you're slow.
Yeah, I mean,
You're real slow.
probably at some point, maybe after the Blink and the Shard gets the Boots of Travel,
Oh,
so he
probably.
can global gank to the
Lumiere?
Hawk. But I think he'll be able to get the dive. Lumiere, how's he looking on terms of gold now as well, Lumiere? He's got that
He's
Sacred
got the
Relic
relic.
up, but he's going to be a little bit further away now from... I think he'll be able to take him down. The Death Ward, it got used, but they're going to be able to get the kill. They're going to be able to clean it up here on the side of Little Gun.
Oh, Beastmaster and Analog show up just a tiny bit too late and unable. Little Gun, they're playing this aggressive lineup so well right now, and they're just gonna go straight up for the Roshan. They know that there's a chance they can lose this game, so why wait? You know, just go for it if you can.
Yeah, and you can see now as well, Meepo, he has that Skadi queued up. He's already got himself the double Dragon Lance and Skadi queued up into the Aghanim Scepter, so he is going to have that dig. So, was it digging to the ground for a short duration, dispelling Meepo and causing him to be invulnerable and untargetable for 4 seconds, restores 50% of his max health over that duration, kind of Casper. Okay, so it's effectively the old Burrow from the Nyx Assassin for a 4-second duration with a heal. Right?
Yeah, and you heal like 50%, which seems pretty good, and you're invulnerable. Seems like it's almost like an astral imprisonment that heals you. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that's a better comparison.
Because so yeah, that's it seems pretty good. I mean, good for him. Haven't seen besides like you said, I don't see a lot of Meepo. I just knew he's gonna go for a lot of stats, so he went for the Dragon Lance, which is very a stat efficient item.
Yeah.
And now he's just trying to transition into the Skadi and to the Aghanim Scepter. I wonder though if Little Gun are going to try to go high ground with the first Aegis or the second. Again, your lineup late game, I still don't believe in it. You know, just because you're doing great now doesn't mean that you're going to win it. And man, Lumiere though, this farm, those 2 deaths really hurt him. Like the push mid when he died really hurt. Then he just died a couple of times as well. Oh, it's a tough game for him. Tough game for him.
Yeah, and he's still trying to get full, the full radiance out. How far away is he from the Talisman of Evasion?
Oh,
bottom lane.
Bottom
Did he
lane?
get the dive? Analog. He needs to get himself away. Was that Blink Dagger? He's going to try and go for the TP behind the tree. Yeah, and 4-2-3. Wasn't able to get the vision in time. Theo might not be so lucky, though. There's going to be the Blink forward now as well. He does get himself away from this, but there's going to be the diving from Sanctity. Sanctity, the Earthbind does connect this time, and Marcy will be the sacrificial lamb. Going to be locked down. Spear doesn't connect, but Theo, he's wasting so much time.
I was thinking the exact same thing. I was like, this is actually okay. Like, everyone teleported bottom. The Aegis is down to about 3 minutes now, thanks to that move. Analog lived. Like, Analog died, that would not have been worth it. You know, it's like losing 2 people just for a couple minutes off the Aegis, especially the first Aegis is not worth it. But Theo just died. It's okay. The guy's got boots and an orb of venom, you know? It's not exactly like you were killing much here. So I think... and then in the meantime, Lumiere finishes the Radiance. So all in all... Well, Corey, they look at that. Yeah, we lost Theo, but it's a win for them in my book.
Yeah. So Lumiere, he's not even super far behind. Is Meepo supposed to be like? Is he like an alchemist where he's supposed to be like 5,000-6,000 gold ahead, or is he supposed to be like just a little bit ahead?
A little bit ahead, at least. I mean, you got 5 people farming, you know, so you're definitely gonna be a little bit ahead. You're also so much more mobile. However, Lumiere with the Radiance is not enough to move. Oh. Vitaly? He managed to make that TP just in time. Yeah, like just Radiance is not enough for this for the Wraith King. Even a BKB, you know, it's like, yeah, you're gonna be magic immune, but there's so much physical damage. You might need like a BKB, then an Assault Cuirass, then he can fight. He's gonna go for the Blink first though, which is I'm okay with that as well.
Hey, just take a look at the Meepo as well. Meepo's super close to that Skadi, and we're 21 minutes in. Double Dragon Lance coming up to the Skadi in probably the next minute or so, and then he's going to be going back for an axe. This is going to be, I mean, 12,000 gold at 21 minutes in. You know, it's pretty decent. You see the Wraith King's been delayed so much, and he got a decent amount of, I don't want to say free farm, but it wasn't super contested. The poof comes out as well. Theo, he tries to use that dispose, but all it does is it encourages the Wrath. 4-2-3 here, gets himself another kill.
By the way, Beastmaster has enough money for the Blink Dagger. We'll see if he wants to go for it. He's got the gold, but he's not buying anything. Garlic, he's going to be the target here, and I think he's going to be dying as well. Oh, the bounce is coming out. Let's get them out. Oh, man, level 1 Paralyzing Cask. Ouch. Oh, it's level 1.
That is, it feels bad. He did go for the second point here in the Voodoo Restoration, so you half got your wish. You know, he's focusing that over the cask. I'm
actually just going to put Cask at 9, though, because, again, the value of the spell doubles. So you want to make sure at least you get those value points in. Usually like 1 or 2 points are good. Then it's like then you can max out something else if you want. Overall, though,
22 minutes Skadi on 4-2-3.
Yeah, but the Aegis is not didn't do that much. Like they weren't able to take a tier 2. They only got a couple of support kills. According to the graphs, okay, it was all right. Hokori has only 25% chest. That's not much. I was thinking they'd be close to like 40. But it's not the biggest deal. They didn't really just dominate the map with that Aegis or get giant objectives like a tier 2.
Yeah, but it's also the fact that it stopped Hokori from going for those objectives, right?
That's true.
They've taken down the tier 1 towers, but the Wraith King got delayed on this Radiance by about 3 or 4 minutes. He had to go back to farm, which means his BKB is still down, which means he still wants to farm the bottom lane. We're going to be able to get a catch out. The Winter's Curse comes through now as well. There's going to be the blink into the Earthbind and the poofs. Puck will he be able to get himself away from this? He does get the jump out to the orb. He's going to have to go for the TB. No, that Remnant, wrong angle, but good idea from Sanctity. He doesn't get the catch.
For Analog, really played by the skin of his teeth. They smoke up on Hokori's side, by the way. They're hoping someone's going to show up here. The Aegis just timed out, so all of a sudden, like this would be a good time for Hokori to punch back if they can. Blink Dagger finished up on the Beastmaster, and Wraith King decides not to go for Blink. Once the BKB instead. I like this choice, but again, I don't think BKB and Radius is enough to take on this Meepo. You need one more item. That's just gonna. It's too scary to go up against this Meepo with just these two.
Yeah, Vitaly as well here. He did go for that Blink Dagger, going back for the shot afterwards. He's only about 200 gold away, so he might be able to. I mean, the pressure onto this tier 2 tower in the top lane, it's just going to be balls. He doesn't have an Ancient stolen just yet, as far as I can see. He does. It's the Granite Golem in the mid lane. Okay, so he pulled it all the way
best
through.
golem.
Yeah, just to pull the pressure on this mid lane back.
This is the best script you can get, honestly. 15% extra health, super useful. It's basically like. It's the best. I play a lot of Doom as a support. It's not bad. And that's always the one you want to go for when you get the level 15 talent. Just 15 extra health % for your whole team. It's almost like having an extra hero, honestly, in terms of health. No, actually, he's got the Satyr Tormentor. What the hell? What?
Well, yeah, the Golem got taken care of in the mid lane. Meepo came and farmed it up, so he has to get a replacement.
Damn it, why you gotta do me like that, 4-2-3? Can't you just let him live? Poor Golem. But yeah, Satyr Tormentor is whatever. Generally, you want to get something with an aura, but 5% extra health regeneration is not much. Smoke up though on Hokori. Do they have the BKB up? They do. It's ready. Well, it feels risky for Lumia to fight with just the BKB, but we'll see what he can do. He actually turns off the Radiance, by the way. This is a move from True Sight. I think they were walking. PSG LGD walked through a camp with the Radiance active, hits a creep. The creep moved. Yotaro saw it. He's like, okay, they're there. He dodges a smoke. It was an insane play at the time. Now Lumiere is like, yeah, I'm not gonna turn on the Radiance so that we don't trigger off any camps. And Lil'Gan, if they're paying attention, they won't see these creeps move. It's nice, but will they actually catch anyone for all this effort?
Smoke was out. They go from the very top of the map to the very bottom of the map and don't see anybody here. 4-2-3 with the Meepos though might. He poofs himself away. Yeah, grouping up with the rest of his team. They kind of know that something's up. Nobody's showing on the map at all. They're not pushing in this top lane that they could potentially take a tier 2 tower. They're not protecting the push in the bottom lane.
Well, they got vision.
The puck will come through.
Good vision from Hokori though. They got the ward here and there's ward in the cliff. They want to fight near their own ward. They want to make sure that Lil'Gan comes to them. Lumiere, he's obliging them. He's like, hey, here I go. And will they actually be able to catch anyone? Hokori, they know what they want, but they're still a bit cautious about this. They want him to be a little bit deeper. You want to fight at the edge of your vision. They're gonna go. And it looks like they're pinging it out. Hokori, they're like, there's something up with this cliff. They're all there. It must be warded.
Yeah, Lumia is going to show. There's not going to be a dive in here from the Mars into an arena. Second Life, the reincarnation anyway, from Wraith King. He is level 16, so he has the second point into that, which brings the cooldown to 130 seconds. So it's not an awful amount of time, but it's not a great amount of time either on that respawn.
Yeah, it's still very long. It's until it's max level. Honestly, every time you die, it feels like it's forever, regardless.
Yeah.
But that was very high level from both teams. I mean, obviously they're credible teams anyway, but just seeing the way that Lumiere turns off the radius, seeing the way Lil'Gan, they're like, no, we're not moving off this cliff, no matter what. And Hokori, they recognize this. They realize they must be there for that reason, for this cliff. Well, Roshan is going to spawn right now. It's the second Rosh of the game. This is the one that dictates whether Lil'Gan can win it. You know, if they can take this, they have a chance. If they don't, their lineup does run out of momentum, and it would be scary to go late game for them.
Oh yeah,
Let's see what they can do here. I mean, 4-2-3. Do they want to go straight into the pit? How's the Vision looking around this as well? So they are going to see with the Hawk coming through, so they're going to see where Lil Gun are grouped up.
For analog, he's TPing top. He's only got half the mana though. That's something to be a little bit worried about. It's enough to get your spells off, but not exactly full mana. He's trying to get the BKB. Smoke up boy Hokori. Want to get a pick off. Again, this Roshan is so important for both teams. Kishka.
Are they going to be able to jump in? If they're going to be able to get the kill onto the Rubik, maybe. The Sounds comes out. In fact, they go for the Dream Coil, but the Cold Embrace is going to be keeping alive all the way through this. He might be able to get himself out on top of it, but there is going to be the Fireball coming through from the Ancient Black Dragon. So they do get 2 kills. Ace goes down there as well.
Alright, so for Hokori, will they go for it? They're still up against an Mars Arena. He does have a BKB, so there's really not much they can do against him. And the Vision there, they're sort of getting rid of it as well. Hokori, they know they want to fight near the cliff. They're very careful about the Vision that Lil Gun has. And it looks like they're just going to go for it, Hokori. This is really scary for Lil Gun.
Yeah, maybe the Worms start to turn here in favor of Hokori as the...
Oh, for sure.
The gank potential for Lil Gun is falling off as well. Meepo went back for a third ultimate orb before he went for the axe. 11, does he want to try and go for the arena here? He's going to be caught out the BKB, but there's going to be the roll. The Death Ward comes out, and they're going to be able to delete 11. 11 can he get himself away from this? He has to drop the arena, and now they are going to be able to clean up. Actually, good turnaround here from Lil Gun and Lumia. Buyback comes through from Goddard. Yeah, he has to get himself right back in. Nice rebound onto the Meepos. The Winter's Curse will be used, and Lumia going to be deleting into own Marcy. Marcy tries to get himself away from this. The Earthbind once again onto Lumia. They do get the kill onto the Marcy. Marcy no buyback. Now they're trying to run themselves away. The Wraith Fire Blast going to be able to deal with 11. 4-2-3. Can he run this Meepo away? He's trying to do his best. Dream Coil's going to be there now as well. The Wraith Fire Blast stolen by the Rubik. Tries to turn it around. Cold Embrace, but Lumia, that's going to be the Aegis being popped.
That's BKB though.
Is he going to be able to get himself anything more from this? The Mautic comes through as well into the Meepo. They're going to be able to delete him. Meepo could buy back if he wants to. Vitaly trying to get himself away again. There's going to be the Wraith Fire Blast stolen by the Rubik, and Lumia no buyback from the Meepo, so they're just going to try and fight this the way it is. And now they might be able to take down the Wraith King again. The Wraith King has already used that Aegis, already used the Reincarnation, and they are going to be able to burn through him. And now Vitaly trying to throw the axes down 11. Did he buy back to that fight? I think he did, but he's not going to be taken down just yet. He will eventually fall. Vitaly gets the kill onto him.
Okay, that was a super. I think there were 2 buybacks, one from each side, one on Gardic, one on 11. The Aegis, what the hell was that? That was, looks like it does favor Lil Gun just a little bit more in that fight, but it seemed fairly even at the end.
Yeah.
Overall, losing Lumiere, that was 3 lives, by the way, on the Wraith. It takes them 2 lives to go through 4-2-3. But again, if you're Hokori, your big job is right now is that you want to stall this game out, you want to go a bit later on, and they're doing that. That went decently enough for them in the end.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking, without that Aegis, that fight ends a hell of a lot quicker, and Lil Gun will probably take, the victory through that.
Sure, but that becomes harder and harder to do as the game goes longer.
Yeah,
Hokori's are just getting better and better. Witch Doctor, by the way, he's also got the shard. I don't think we pointed that out, but it means that if Meepo jumps on 3 seconds, Wizard Switcheroo got a very big buff lasting from 2 to 3 seconds. So, you jump on him, you think you're going to get killed, but you're going to take basically a half Death Ward to the face. BKB on the Analog. Beastmaster, what's he going for? Hasn't bought an item. He's got 3,000 gold. Aghanim Scepter. Aghanim Scepter. Aghanim Scepter.
Yeah,
and Theo is also...
I see what it's going to be. I'd assume it's going to be Boots of Trouble.
Aghanim Scepter, you mean? And Theo's very close to the BKB. So a few items come out for Hokori. For Lil Gun, 1,000 gold away for the Aghanim Scepter for Kishka. So you can steal 2 spells, very useful. Mars is going for the Deso. Okay. Winter Wyvern has the Blink Dagger. What do we have for Meepo? Meepo, we've talked about him. He just said he went for the Ultimate Orb. Now he's still on the way for that Aghanim Scepter. And Sanctity. He's got the Aghanim Scepter. He's got the Kaya Sanj. And he's going to go for the BKB. Not too far from that either. So a lot of items coming out. Both teams will want to farm just a little bit.
What would 4-2-3 get rid of here for the Axe?
I guess it's either the boots or the ultimate orb. Seems like it might be. Oh, by the way, the ultimate orb is going to turn into a hex.
Oh, it's the hex.
Right?
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, so to get rid of one of the Dragon Lances then, maybe?
I think so, right? Like it's the boots and the blink. Your blink can become overwhelming blink. Boots? I don't know. It's either boots or a Dragonlance, right? One or the other.
Hmm.
Maybe he puts it into his neutral item slot. Heyo!
He's a
Pack
level
rat,
20,
baby.
so yeah, not quite yet. But I was just thinking, because if he does sell one of the Dragonlances, he should have enough gold there. Oh, he's buying out the Hex first, okay? He's not going for the Hex just yet. He's buying out that Hex first. Top lane, though, there will be a Dream Coil coming up onto the Winter Wyvern. Winter Wyvern going to get low. Cold Embrace does come through. Ace is going to be able to survive through this. Is he going to be enough here to try and drop that Winter's Curse? He gets that Blink away from danger now as well. But the Orb, that's going to be the Winter's Curse coming through onto the Puck. Analog gets a kill onto Ace, but is he going to be taken down in revenge? Pinned to the side of the arena when the Winter's Curse wears out. Theo going to be showing that BKB off. That is going to be the first showing of this BKB. He's just going to have to use it to run himself away. Goes for that TP now as well. But the Remnant is going to get the drive back now as well as the BKB wearing off. So they're going to be able to get the kill onto Theo.
And somehow Lumiere had no health when that fight began. I don't know who jumped on it, but he was like, nope, I can't fight. He does have the Assault Crest, so I do think Lumiere could be fighting. In the meantime, Garlic loses his life. He's actually went for the max Voodoo Restoration. Only 1 point paralyzing cask. Interesting. A little bit, I don't mean to criticize, but if Eleven had the shard just now, he would have been able to spear both the Marcy and Analog. That worked out for him anyway. It's like, it's fine, doesn't even need to. But it is something that might want to consider. You know, those 2-man spears can do a lot of work.
Yeah, it would have been a good lineup. Like you say, the BKB came out from Theo. He tried to get himself away, so he did end up getting the kill after it wore off anyway. Oh, Lumiere gets a kill onto Kishka. They want to try and jump 4-2-3's close. Sanctus, he's going to be there now as well. Lumiere, he has to pop that BKB. He's just going to try and ride his throne away to safety.
I love that taunt. That is just that is just too good. That is too good of a taunt. All right, Little Gun. Even though they still have a net worth advantage, but 4,034 minutes is not a big deal. You know, the Hex on Meepo could make a big difference.
Yeah, and
so what are you thinking of the power levels from the Meepo? Are you impressed?
Yeah, I think that there's good gank potential coming out from the Meepo as well, and it does what a Meepo, what it says on the box, right? Blocks heroes down, poofs up, gets a load of damage through the poof, and just ransacks you down. I was just wondering how it would match up against the Wraith King, especially with the Wraith King going for the Radiance, but it seems like at the minute, the Meepo with the rest of the team are coming out on top. They do have a lot of control in. And then, yeah, whether it falls off at any point, that's just what I'm wondering.
Well, to be fair, Wraith King, I mean, the item build he went for with the Radiance is pretty good. He's also going to go for Overwhelming, so a lot of AoE damage. And Meepo, you never get the BKB. It just doesn't work for your illusions.
Oh, they're going to get the drag back now into the Wraith King. The Wraith King's BKB is going to be down for the next 15 seconds. Do they have enough to take him down twice, though? He's going to be popped just the once. And now the follow-up Reincarnation. That BKB still 9 seconds away. Spear to the arena wall. They're going to be able to do a lot of damage at 4-staff, trying to keep him alive, but the Hex comes out. And Lumiere, the BKB is 2 seconds away. Is he going to be able to get it off before he goes down here, Lumiere? Trying to run himself away. He goes down just as the BKB comes up.
This could be a Rax. He's down for 80 seconds. And in the meantime, they were not able. They need to find a way to push out these towers. Make sure.
They might even get the kill onto. They are going to be able to get the kill onto the Witch Doctor.
That's all right. He did his job. Theo, check out Theo. He automatically goes and pushes the top lane. They need Analog to push out this mid. They do have glyphs, and they might want to consider using it because they refresh after this anyway. They do. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but
so they're going to be able to get at least 3 glyphs. They're going to get this one, and they're going to the refreshes. All right, they have a glyph again, and they might have time actually for Lumiere to come back.
They might find out Analog. Analog's going to be locked down, stunned up, and he's going to be killed off. Yeah, the Hex comes through. 4-2-3. He does have a buyback though. 68 seconds he's dead for. Fortification 2 comes out here from the side of Hokori. They are starting to lose this base, so Fortification will be wearing off. The Meepo goes back to heal. He's just going to be able to bring them all right back, and then TP in, or excuse me, poof back in.
Beastmaster went for the BKB, so he doesn't have anything. They just, it looks like it might be a Rax. Or Corey, they're not going to be able to lose anymore unless Little Gun decides to go for a throw, which I doubt they will, since they do have tier 2 standing top and bottom. But Little Gun, massive advantage right now, 12,000. Lumiere gets caught with his BKB, 15 seconds. I won't say, I won't say he got caught with his pants down. He was like zipping them up, but just not fast enough, and loses his life. And Little Gun, they're taking more map control. I still believe that Hokori can win this. We've seen them come back from massive deficits before.
Yeah, it's not completely over. They do still have a chance.
Check out what Rubik's stolen, by the way.
What is Rubik stolen?
He's got Roar.
Is that?
It's just good.
The second time he's had that? The third time he's had that?
I mean, it doesn't. It's not that hard to steal, right? Because most of the time you jump in, you roar. It's like then you don't often use your spells too much on the Beastmaster. Lumiere. Can they find Kishka? They see people in the mid lane. They want to get a pick off here.
Yeah.
It's like they want to get a pick off on Hokori. The only buyback they have is on Analog's side, by the way.
And if they do get a good pick off here on Hokori, Roche is up in 45 seconds. So if they can get 2 or 3 heroes, I mean, if either team can get 2 or 3 heroes here, a gank could open up the Roche pit.
By the way, the sidekick.
Oh, they're going to be able to find out Vitaly. Vitaly can get himself away from this one. Pops that BKB, but the Storm Roar comes out. Going to be a lot of right-click damage coming through here. They clean up onto the Beastmaster. The Death Ward has been dropped. The Dream Coil comes out now as well. Sanctity gets himself around the spear. It latches. They just absolutely melt on Gardic. The Arena comes out. Not going to be able to get the catch. And Theo inside the Roche pit here, but the Winter's Curse comes through. And Roche 13 seconds away. In fact, fighting around this Roche pit, it might just be the perfect time to do that. 8 seconds, they walk themselves out. They kind of know Roche isn't up because they were just in the pit, but 4, 3, 2, 1. The big man is going to be coming back. Does anyone try and check this?
Gardic bought back for this, by the way. Lumiere was not interested in that fight at all. Didn't jump in, didn't use the BKB, didn't use his reincarnation. And we're getting real close to that pack. I'm assuming it's the pack rat, by the way. It could be an extra clone. I'll be excited to see if it's a pack rat. He is running out of slots. And no, they're just going for it. This is the 3rd Roche of the game. It does have the Aghanim Scepter for Meepo. That would be a nice upgrade, but Kishka...
I mean, he's already got that. He probably wants to keep the stats, right? Would you give it over to... Oh, I don't know, maybe... Void
my bad. I clicked on a Meepo clone and didn't show, and I was like, I thought if it showed all of they had it. All right, we'll see who's going to get it instead. It's going to go for the Mars instead. All right, that Bulwark active. You get soldiers in front of you, push people, and do damage. It's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't realize that apparently it's only the main Meepo that shows if he has the upgrade or not. The other ones don't.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's a bug. Seems like a bug.
I just think it's because it doesn't show any items on the Meepo at all, on the Meepo clones at all. So it's
but it shows the dig ability itself. So
yeah.
that was a bit dumb. All right. In the meantime, Lumiere, do they know he's there? All right, he's got skeletons pushing bottom lane. This is very scary for Hokori. 4-man smoke. I don't know where they're smoking. I mean, you know where they're coming. And Lumiere?
Does the Rubik still have the... Oh, no, he doesn't. He has the sidekick. They're going to be able to get a Dream Call out now as well. Winter Wyvern's going to be taken care of before he can get the curse off. But Analog just gets completely deleted. 4-2-3 going to be able to take him down. Back lines. Death Ward comes out. Rose reviews now as well onto one of the Meepos. Gardic. He's going to try and use the Maledict as well. Lumia's going to try and do the damage onto the Rubik. Gets that kill with Theo. But it looks like they want to go onto the Beastmaster. Can they delete 4-2-3? That's just going to be the Aegis. The rest of his team have already been taken down here. Sanctity going to be the last one to fall. He tries to get away with it to Assimilate. Where's that Meepo going to go? Does he try and go for more damage diving in? He's going to be able to get the kill onto Vitaly. Does he want to try and go for even more onto this? He's going to be taken down, and Lumia finally stops the rampage of the Meepo.
Oh, wow. That was a 22k advantage for Little Gun with the Aegis, and they still lost that fight because this is sort of the power of the Hokori draft that we've been hyping it up. It took them a little longer, but Meepo the late game from Little Gun, it's not bad, but it's not as good as Hokori's, and this is just showing that. Check out Lumiere. He wants to kill the sack. He gets the head off. A couple of hits. He's like, what the hell? How tanky is that guy?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, he had the Resonant Pulse up, right?
I mean, it's still like how many hits did Lumiere throw on him? Just didn't seem to make a difference. In the meantime, though, Hokori, they're trying to push. They do have the mid lane pushing in. Lumiere is going to probably go mid right now, help his team out. 51 seconds until 4-2-3 is up on the Meepo. They have time to go high ground, but Hokori, respecting the fact that they just want a team fight, they don't want to throw their advantage away, decide to just back out. Check out the core's farm, by the way. Only Little Gun's cores are all good, whereas you look at Hokori, only Lumiere is doing well. The other two cores they're struggling.
The Meepo as well did go for the Pack Rat. He's throwing a Dragonlance in there.
Oh, that's it? Really?
Yeah.
Of all the items, you put a Dragonlance? I mean, don't they have a Spell Prism on their side? Wait, I think they do. They have a Spell Prism. Give them the Spell Prism, dude. Okay, interesting. Just the Dragonlance. I mean, it's good stats, I guess. I thought, all right. I want a Divine Rapier. I think he needs to put a Divine Rapier in there.
Can you put a Divine Rapier in there? Does it still drop if you die? You know what's because it just acts as an extra item slot, right?
Yes.
So
I think it would drop.
Yeah.
Oh. Meanwhile, though, Lilgun, they still have a massive advantage, but Lumiere, they see him. He's going straight for Ace.
4 just gets the blow up onto the Winter Wyvern. No Winter's Curse again. They are going to be able to get on top of the Wraith King here now as well, but the Roar comes out now with that rebound onto the main Meepo. They might be able to get this kill. It's Lumiere. He's fighting for his life, but he's going to have a second one of those coming back just in a second.
Time as well.
Voodoo switcher on the backlines now. It's over Sanctity. He wants to take down this Witch Doctor. One more right click. Going to be able to get the kill. 4-2-3. He's trying to run himself away from this one. The main Meepo is trying to get out of danger. The Bulwark comes out as well. Lumiere going to be taking a lot of punishment. Wraith Fire Blast onto the Mars, but that Bulwark active still doing a lot of work. The Spear, it's going to be onto Lumiere. He's pinned to the side of the wall. He's going to be taken down, and now Analog, can he get himself away? Where's that Remnant? It's not going to be there. And the jump away from the puck, but it's still going to be followed up by Sanctity, and they're going to be able to see him. The God's Rebuke. The distance on that gets the kill. 11 cleans up.
Dude, 11's highest net